Dreamsicle Frosty. It's like a time machine that takes you all the way back to now, the year 2024. It's the classic creamy, orangey flavor you remember. Dare I say, it's new-timey. It's the flavor you grew up with, just all grown up. Head over to your local Wendy's establishment and get yours while supplies last. The new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. Here for the now, for now.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
And Doug.
Being a spokesperson's easy, kid. Just say, customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Customize and save with Liberty Bibberty.
That's not it.
Liberty Mutual. Liberty Musical.
Nope.
Lumberty, line.
It's 2 words. Liberty Mutual.
Got it. Don't not pay at libertymuttnoodle.com.
Wow. I guess I'll just do it. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. That's a wrap.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Monday afternoon to you. Do I look like Stevie Wonder? If you're watching on one of our many video streams. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Yeah. Great to be back after a week off. Vacation, finally. Get a little downtime. Recharge the batteries. Underneath a eclipsing sun. That's what these are, actually. I'm wearing my eclipse glasses. Aren't these kind of funky, J-Dub?
They're very funky.
Like these? Yeah.
I like it.
When I was looking for eclipse glasses, I said, I just don't, we got some of the paper ones, but I said, I got to get something better than that. I want something like that actually looks like sunglasses, wears like sunglasses, especially if I'm going to be wearing them for a period of time. You cannot see a thing out of these, JW. I cannot even see you right now.
That's good. That means your eyes are protected from eclipse light. Yeah.
When you put these things on, you're like, oh, okay.
It reminds me that I read that I can't remember which big home goods store, but they declined to be able to return any welding gear the day after. So people would get same kind of deal. So the welding helmets that have that light protection for your eyes, from welding, obviously, they wouldn't allow any return. Same kind of deal. Can't see anything out of it.
Cannot see a thing out of these. But when you look up at that sun, man, it is like crystal clear. And it's a lot smaller than you think it is. I mean, when you're just out there and the sun is blaring, you think it's this really, really huge. And I think that's kind of the way we grew up, as the sun is this really, really huge kind of star out there. It's really just a bright star. It's not really that big when you take all the illumination out of it. Wearing eclipse glasses, it just is like a little round thing in the sky. It's really no bigger. It looks no bigger than the moon does on most nights when you're looking up at the sky and seeing the moon. Now, it could conceivably, I'd be interested maybe to see these in a sunrise, to be wearing these on a sunrise. And that's the beauty of these, is like they're good for like 10 years. So you can literally just go out any day you want and look at the sun. Just if you want to go and look at it.
Some people are casual eclipse visitors, and then there are eclipse fans such as yourself. So you got to have the real deal. And if you're going to get glasses, you might as well invest in some that'll last you 10 years.
Yeah. And I've got my Great American Eclipse t-shirt on. I actually got this at Christmas. I didn't wear it a lot because it's short sleeves and it's winter. Even here, you don't wear short sleeves a lot during this time of the year. But just a tremendous, got to go home last week to Cleveland, Ohio. Spoke about it. It's been speaking about it on the show for a number of months, how it was something that kind of had been planning for a lot of years. I mean, a lot of years, ever since I found out probably about 20-something years ago that there was going to be an eclipse going through my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. The plan was to be there for the eclipse. And it got dicey because it looked like I might not be there. If our beloved Arizona Wildcats had gone to the national championship game, I would have been here and not in Cleveland, Ohio last Monday. So
whoever plans those eclipses, man, they really dropped the ball on that.
Exactly.
Don't plan an eclipse the same day as the national championship.
I blame the NCAA for pushing the entire postseason back a week, which I'm still not sure why they did that. I don't know if we ever got a reason why the postseason was pushed back an entire week, because normally the national championship game is the first Monday in April, not the second Monday in April. So, but my whole thought on it was, look, whatever happens, I'm going to be doing something really cool on April 8th. I'm either going to be covering Arizona in a national championship basketball game, or I'm going to be seeing a phenomenon which you don't often get to see in life. And I've been I said it before, I saw my first eclipse, I believe it was back in 1978, 79. I don't remember exactly the year it was, but it was, I was living in Denver, Colorado, and we had, I think we were like about in low 90s, like 90 to 94% totality there in Denver. And I remember it that day, and and they prepare you in school. I think I was in 5th grade. They prepare you in school. You poke. This was back when you poked a hole in a cardboard, or what do they call those? Index card.
I remember those days.
You poked the hole in the index card, and then you held it up against another sheet of paper, and you looked at the eclipse that way. Now we've got these fancy glasses, and here's the thing that I found out, which I wasn't sure, because we woke up last Monday. I flew into Cleveland, took the red eye out on Saturday night. By the way, there's a really cool red eye now that goes to Chicago that leaves at right around midnight.
From here?
Yeah, it just started apparently like 4 weeks ago. I was talking to the guy at Cervezas. There's Cervezas there on Concourse A, and he's like, yeah, this flight just started. Normally, the last flight out of Tucson is at like 8 o'clock at night. Now they've got this flight that leaves at midnight. He says, we have to stay at the bar here for an extra 4 hours, but there's like a 3-hour block where there's nobody here, because the flight previous to that one leaves at 8 o'clock, and then the next one's not until almost midnight. And so there's like 15 people at the bar that night. He's like, yeah, it's like the one night there was only 3 people at the bar. Today, the night I was flying out, I flew out on a Saturday night. There was like 15 people at the bar, or whatever not. So, yeah, it's a brand new flight if you're looking to get back east on a red eye out of Tucson, because there really have never been that many red eyes out of Tucson. If you want to fly a red eye, you generally have to go to Phoenix to do that. But now there is a red eye. It is United, and it goes to O'Hara.
Back in the 80s and 90s, it was a lot busier, it feels, because I think Alaska was the hub down here. Like, there was a whole bunch more before Phoenix Airport got giant, right? I think Arizona, Tucson got a little bit more traffic, but yeah, I mean, ever since then, I will say that there are a lot of transplant Chicagoans, so it would only make sense that they would have a quick way to get back home late at night.
So got back to Cleveland early Sunday morning around 10 a.m. Did not get to the national championship game for the women. That was cool. I had some Iowa fans on my flight out of Chicago, obviously, that were flying in for the game, but did watch it, and obviously it was a pretty good ball game between South Carolina and Iowa that was won by the South Carolina Gamecocks, winning their second title in the last 3 years. So congratulations to Dawn Staley and her ladies. The WNBA draft is tonight. Caitlin Clark expected to go number 1. This is not our question of the day, J-Dub, but I'll ask it now.
Okay.
If you're the Indiana Fever, would there have been anything you would have traded that another team could have given you to trade away that top pick tonight? If you're the Indiana Fever, what would it have taken for you to trade that pick tonight?
Well, look, you and I are both old enough to know a lot of very fine quality young women who've come into professional basketball through our lifetimes. I mean, Caitlin Clark did not write the book on how to be a famous women's college basketball player. However, in the era of social media and the era of when you break Pete Maravich's record and all of the buzz that goes along with it, she is the most hyped player coming out. So no, I don't think that there's any amount that you would ask for, because it's really hard to get a lot of, WNBA attendance in general. I'm not sure about the Fever and specifically, but WNBA attendance in general hasn't always been where they want it to be. And when you can get a player of that caliber, DK, to come in and fill some of those seats up, I heard their ticket sales jumped like 40% just when they announced that they were going to get that pick. So
36 of their 40 games are going to be on TV next year. Or this coming year. The next year, I'm talking about. The season starts like in a month. Like this season, 36 of their 40 games are going to be on TV.
Now, obviously completely different, but Shaq level, right? Yeah. Like LeBron coming out of high school was different. That was, he was obviously the most hype guy coming out of high school. But just a surefire, not only can't miss player, but can't miss personality that's going to embrace the community and always have. She's always been a person who's been really big, and obviously that's where she's from. You can't imagine it's going to be any different in Indiana. It's still Midwest. I don't think, DK, that there's anything that you would give up as the Fever to pass on drafting Caitlin Clark.
It's interesting you mentioned LeBron, because I was talking about that with someone. I say it's the exact same thing. When the Cavs got that ping pong ball, there was nothing you could have given the Cavaliers.
Wasn't it Gilbert's son? Or?
No, I don't know that he was at that one. He went to a lot of the ones after that. Right. I'm not sure if the younger son, unfortunately, who passed away a few years ago, was the one that was at that one. I could be wrong. It might, but I thought he was younger then.
I just remember a lot of smiles. Yeah, you got the hometown Akron kid.
I remember I was umpiring a Little League baseball game, and I had just gotten done, and I got in my car, and I'm driving down the road and I'm listening to it on the radio, and I just remember pounding on my horn when that ball came up for the Cavaliers, that they were going to get that number one pick, and there's nothing you could have given Cleveland to get them to trade that pick, and I think it's the same way tonight. There's nothing you could give the Indiana Fever. You couldn't give them Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner, and whatever else to get that pick.
You got to think of it in this way: like Taurasi, unquestionably the greatest female professional player of all time. Yeah. Right. However, you just said it. She's 41. Right. So if you're talking about Caitlin Clark being a 22, 23-year-old and the longevity that she's going to bring to that organization, and hopefully all of the eyeballs they're going to bring to TV and all the butts in the seats, there's nothing that is the most hyped female college basketball player ever coming into professional sports. No, you can't pass on it.
Yeah, no question. So, there were some Iowa fans on my trip to Cleveland. We did get down there on Monday. We went down early on Monday, and we walked around just to kind of see some of the remnants of the Final Four that was in town. They had this really cool bracket that was down in the one section down by Public Square that had all the names on it, and it was really cool the way they set it up. It was almost like building blocks, a building block kind of bracket, which was real cool. But got downtown, and we went down super early because, of course, we, the media, scare the heck out of you about what crowds are going to be like. We're thinking, oh, my God, there was going to be 500,000 people in downtown Cleveland. We got to get down there at 9 a.m. so we can beat the traffic and not have to deal. We were like going to park in this one lot where it's like a big Browns tailgate lot. But then we're driving down the freeway. There's nobody on the freeway at 9 o'clock. We're like, oh, this is really easy. There's no one even here yet. So we drive in, and she's like, would you want to stop and park here? It's like, well, let's just keep going and see how far we can get, because we didn't know what streets were going to be blocked off. So we're just driving and driving. We ended up parking at Cleveland State, which is about maybe a mile away from the stadium complex, Jacobs, Progressive Field, and the arena. And then we just walked down from there. And to make that story short, we ended up parking for free because it was pay when you leave, and when we left, the gates were up. Right. So not only did we not have to, and like we had driven past like lots that were charging $80. Oh yeah, like $80 to park. Yeah. And we drove down another half mile to Cleveland State and ended up getting to park for free.
The tickets were going for like $2,300 in this third party.
That's
sales,
exactly.
So.
That's Yeah, just astronomical. But yeah, I thought it was going to be like Cleveland's a lot like a lot of Midwest towns where St. Patrick's Day is a huge party day, and people start getting downtown because we have a big parade like Chicago. People get downtown for the parade at like 6 a.m. and drink all day long, and we thought that's what it was going to be like. That people were just going to be packed downtown, but it really wasn't like that at all. There was the baseball crowd that was near the stadium, and then there was the eclipse crowd, which was down by the Science Center, which was like the two are separated. The Science Center is next to the football stadium, which is closer to the lake. So there really wasn't a lot of downtown congestion in Cleveland for the eclipse. We'll get more into to what happened. Last Monday, it was right around this time, actually, Cleveland time, 3:14. We were in totality. How do you like my glasses there, Miss Cricket?
How do you like me now?
How you like me now?
You look stylish.
Yeah, I can't see I can't even see you right now.
Well, then that means they're the correct glasses.
That's what I said.
Unless you're the sun, I'm blind. You're blind to me. I'm blind to you right now.
You missed the whole Ray Charles thing earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see that.
Isn't she lovely?
Isn't that Stevie Wonder, though?
Is that? Yeah. Oh, gosh, I'm singing the wrong song. So what was Ray Charles' song? Georgia.
Sure.
Georgia.
J-Dub, sure. Sure.
Exactly.
I haven't seen you guys for like 10 days.
Right?
Hello.
We've
been so
How
busy.
Are you? I still can't see you.
You still can't.
Take these darn glasses off.
I missed you guys. I forgot what you guys look like.
So how was the eclipse here? Did you guys go out and watch it last Monday? Because you were here. Both here. Yeah. You were. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. So I've seen you 7 days ago.
I was
for a
here
second.
specifically for that because although we didn't do the show last week, we have a U of A baseball game on Monday, and it just so happened to be a morning game that was at 11 a.m.
Right.
So I got in here literally as the eclipse was about to be, I think 20 past 11:20 local time here, and Buzz and Garrett were out back. When I pulled up in my car. So that was the scene here on the studio.
That's it, yeah.
Well, again, Cricket, I don't know if you've ever seen a total eclipse, but it's something you've got to do. I recommend it to anybody. It is an unbelievable phenomenon that you've got to put your eyes on to see in person. And my understanding is in 2 years, there's going to be one in Egypt. Over the pyramids. Can you imagine going and seeing that in that setting? I mean, I saw it over a building we called the Terminal Tower. But to go and see total solar eclipse over the pyramids?
That'd be amazing.
Come on.
Once in a lifetime.
I might start saving money for that because I might go see another. I definitely have got to go somewhere and see another one of those.
Hopefully they don't schedule that eclipse the same day as the national championship game.
Well, we'll look that up because I think you can. We already know what the dates are. We'll have to look that up for us, Jade, and let us know.
All right.
I think it's in August, if I'm not mistaken. I already looked. It's in August, so it'll be right around football season, but not before football starts. So we can maybe plan a trip around that.
Maybe like management could pay for that.
Yes.
You could broadcast.
We could broadcast live from the pyramids.
Yes.
DK on the sports tip. In front, they're still looking for Anthony and Cleopatra. Maybe we can find them.
Hope so.
There we go. All right. Cricket is
that
here.
That
too. She's getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290. Traffic and weather together. Grant Road north of Oracle, a closure due to an earlier collision on Grant north of Oracle. Other wrecks that are clearing at Euclid north of Speedway and also Valencia and 12th Avenue. And 49, the overnight low, 84 and sunny tomorrow, breezy and 74 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Pros, save big when you buy in bulk at Lowe's. Save 10% on bulk purchases of select roofing shingles because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
The very best in play-by-play is on Tucson's best sports station, Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the home of the Wildcats and NFL play-by-play. This is the one and only Wildcats Radio 1290.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay, nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & Kay is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in-ready homes and special incentives. Live RockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,000 off select laundry appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. And with convenient shopping in-store and online, you can get new appliances with smart, intuitive features any way you want. Like a new LG Wash Combo all-in-one that can run a full load in under 2 hours. Right now, get $1,000 off select laundry appliances with Spring Black Friday savings in-store and online at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Hi, this is Mary with Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers has the largest selection when it comes to picking out gifts of living plants, flowers, trees, and cactus. Indoor, outdoor for your home, your apartment, living gifts can go just about anywhere. Green plants of every size to create beautiful spaces indoors. And if you can't decide, you can always give a gift card. Mesquite Valley Growers on Speedway just east of Pantano. Open 7 days a week. Give the gift of living all year round with Mesquite Valley Growers.
And that's why Alaska vacations are gonna be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're gonna love this. Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out.
Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC.
Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking.
People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is... Alaska vacations come with a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee.
But a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy.
Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city.
But...
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But...
cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at AlaskanAC.com.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400. Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app.
Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users.
The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. In fact, why don't you text the word app, APP, text app to 520-848-1290. I'm going to send you a link so you can download our app. Our app has been doing some strange things lately, but we're still trying to get that figured out 10 days later. We were getting a lot of logos on our app, and the app people aren't sure why that's happening, but we still have great stories up on our app, so head on over to Wildcats Radio 1290, the app. You can find out about the Flames big comeback win last night over the Coyotes. The Coyotes season is coming to an end. The Coyotes themselves might be coming to an end. Apparently a lot went on while we were taking a week off.
The way
J-Dub.
I understand, it's not quite an end.
No. Okay.
Because it's a very, very unusual structuring. The way they're doing it is selling to the league so that they can then sell to the owner of the Utah Jazz.
Right.
But that leaves it open that they could reboot the Coyotes. Because of the way that they're doing it, it means that the name Arizona Coyotes could still in some date. It's kind of like the Sonics.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Seattle Supersonics situation where at some day the Seattle Supersonics will come back.
Yeah.
Now, the question, DK, is if they didn't get enough fan support to get that building built, and that's why they're moving anyway, I mean, will they? That's the question.
Well, Tempe voted it down. The mayor of Scottsdale came out and said that apparently they wanted to build across the street from Scottsdale in Phoenix, and the mayor of Scottsdale came out and poo-pooed that. It's very similar. Did we talk about the J.J. Hardy situation before we left?
I don't think so.
You may know who J.J. Hardy played baseball, and he's from Sabino High School grad, and lives up in Scottsdale now. J.J. is building at his house a baseball field in the backyard. Okay.
Like Kevin Costner style?
Yeah, something similar to that, only made with not real grass. It looks like he's building it like with that really nice field turf.
Right.
And that kind of thing. Apparently, JJ lives on what is called an island in Scottsdale, an incorporated island.
Right.
But the houses that are around his house are in Glendale. Or I'm sorry, is it Glendale or Chandler? They're in Chandler. So he can do whatever he wants on this property, and these people who are his neighbors who live in Chandler have no say about it.
Interesting.
And there was a news report about this lady who literally, her backyard wall is up against his property.
So like her kitchen window is going to get all the home run balls come right through it.
Well, he's putting up netting, but he's also putting up lights, apparently.
Sure.
So there's going to be like this baseball field with lights, and she was like, I didn't move into this neighborhood to be next to a baseball field.
It's all well and good till it goes extras, and you're talking about like a 1 a.m., like bottom of the 19th.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to sleep.
So that's what it sounds like kind of happened with the Coyotes, was that they wanted to build this stadium in Phoenix right up next against Scottsdale, and the mayor of Scottsdale said, no. I don't want you right next to my jurisdiction with whatever you're trying to do here.
It's prime convention real estate in that area.
So you almost, I mean, again, it's a bad situation, but you almost blame it on the municipalities of the valley. I mean, there's two things I'll say. Clearly, there are several municipalities that did not want this to happen in their jurisdiction. Tempe, it went up to a vote. They voted it down. This other situation, which still may come to fruition if the mayor of Scottsdale doesn't block it, but that's clearly something that's going to be down the line. The other thing that just makes no sense to me is, so you're going to move this team now to Salt Lake City, and they're going to play in the same building where the Jazz play at the Delta Center. Didn't we say last summer, why not try to broker a deal to play down at the Footprint Center in Phoenix?
Yeah.
Until and that at least you put yourself back into a major league facility where you can make, quote, close to major league dollars, which you're not making playing at the Mullet Center, the Mullet Arena in Tempe, and give yourself more time to figure this out here in Arizona. That's the part I don't understand from the team side of it. But again, there's also municipalities within the state, within the Phoenix jurisdiction, that have not wanted to play ball with this team. They got kicked out of Glendale. They couldn't build a thing in Tempe. And now the mayor of Scottsdale doesn't want them building near his city either. So again, if you live here in Arizona, you got to decide, is this something that you want? And we'll go back. I mean, it was one of the first topics we talked about on this show when we started this last summer. This is a trickle-down effect here to Tucson, because the Roadrunners are likely going to be gone once this takes place.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of the way the NHL is now. They're not going to, maybe that owner, maybe he keeps the team here. It's very doubtful. The guy in Utah is going to keep his AAA, his American League club in Arizona when he could probably move it closer and put it in one of the smaller cities in Utah and help build up that economy. So we're about to get ready for an exciting playoff run for the Tucson Roadrunners. At the same time, it might be the last time that we have hockey here in southern Arizona, in Arizona, period. So it's a very unusually sad time for hockey here in Arizona as we're trying to get excited for the postseason. 2 games this weekend, final 2 regular season games at home for the Roadrunners. We'll have tickets later in the week, so keep it right here. Wildcats Radio 1290 will have, not only will we have tickets to this weekend's games, Friday and Saturday, but we will also have tickets coming up for the postseason next week. Game 1 is next week at Tucson Arena in the postseason. The Whiteouts are back, so we're going to get excited about that. We're going to get hyped about that. We're going to try to keep hockey as long as we can, because who knows what the future holds for either of these franchises, the Arizona Coyotes or the Tucson Roadrunners. So that happened last week while we were gone.
The most ironic thing about all this to me is that the final game tickets at Mullet are astronomical. So you're talking about the team potentially being relocated because, now the way I understand the Tempe deal was meant to be like 95% paid by the franchise.
Yeah.
And very little tax. Like a lot of the times these stadium deals, you hear about them being voted down by the constituents and you think, well, there must be asking for an 85% be paid by the taxpayers. But that was not the case, right? I mean, it was like a $2 billion place and like 1.9 million of it the franchise was going to pay for. But the thing about it is they've obviously had issues with the bankruptcy, attendance issues, and now they have the final potential game, and it's super ironic to me that the final game tickets are going to be going for something like $700 or $1,000.
Unbelievable. So the Roadrunners have 3 games left. They'll play at Coachella Valley on Wednesday. In fact, they head out on the road tomorrow, and then they'll be back for the final 2 games of the regular season against San Jose this weekend, Friday and Saturday. We'll have to get our guy Nick Nolenberger on Friday, or Thursday or Friday. He's a U of A grad. He is the voice of the San Jose Barracuda, and he also made his National League debut this year when he got called up to broadcast a game for the San Jose Sharks. So we'll talk to Nick later in the week, get his thoughts on the AHL and everything that's happened, and see if he has any thoughts on what's going on as well with the Coyotes as we continue to flesh out that story. Steve Potvant is scheduled to join us tomorrow on the show, the head coach of the Tucson Roadrunners. So we'll get his thoughts on the playoff run for his team. If there's again, normally guys will come back down from the Coyotes and play in the postseason. We'll have to see how that lines up. What guys might potentially, could Dylan Gunther be coming back down? Could Josh Doan be coming back down to the club to play? I mean, if you get those 2 guys back on this roster, man, you got a chance. You got a chance to play real deep into this postseason. There's a max 27 games you could play in the postseason. It's almost a third of the regular season. So you got a chance to, if you could get those guys back. But then there were reports last week that, the new owner, potentially new owner in Salt Lake, might try to block that. Like if he doesn't want some of his top prospects extending their seasons down with a minor league club. So there's a lot of moving parts to this Roadrunners Coyotes situation that we're going to try to dive through as we continue and reboot ourselves here after taking a week off. 520-848-1290. We want to hear from you on all of this, okay? This is your show, so we want to hear from you. 520-848-1290 on the eclipse last week, because we've been gone. What'd you think? What'd you like about it? Did it drive you to want to go see one of these in totality? Because I'm telling you, It is something you have got to do.
You want the list?
Yes.
So the next one is actually in 2026.
Okay.
But it's only going to be for like 2 minutes. And that's apparently the best place to see it is in a boat in the ocean. But the one you're talking about is going to be in Luxor, which is one of the famous spots in Egypt. And will be visible Spain, Gibraltar, Morocco, that whole area of the world, Libya, Egypt, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, so forth and so on.
That's the good places to go on vacation.
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
2027.
It's the beginning of football practice. We might have to miss the beginning of what will be Brent Brennan's third season, maybe the first week.
And if you want to make more travel plans after that, 2028 is Australia.
That might be nice. I've never been to Australia.
And
I've never been to Egypt for that matter.
Is July 22nd.
Okay.
On a Saturday.
I could do that. I mean, yeah, because again, partial eclipses are nice. We had a partial annular eclipse last October, and 75%, I think, here last Monday. But unless you've seen a total eclipse, there is nothing like it. And the thing that's very interesting now is when we were growing up, they used to say, even in a total eclipse, you shouldn't look at the sun when it's in totality. But the reality is that that's the only way you can see it. Because, like, I had my glasses on. I'll put them back on for you if you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube or one of our other. And once the last sliver of the sun disappears, you can't see anything. Like, it's just like right now. I can't see anything. So once the sun is gone, you can't see anything. And because on the morning news in Cleveland, they were talking about, oh yeah, you can once it's in totality, you can look at it. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not what they used to tell us when we were growing up. When we were growing up, they used to say, even in totality, you shouldn't look directly at it.
Yeah.
But that's the only way you can see it is if in totality, because you can't see it with the glasses.
With those glasses, no. I mean, because they block out so much light, so much of the light spectrum.
Right.
I would imagine back in the day, it was don't look at it when you can,
Yeah.
because seconds later, you're going to burn your retinas out. So even if you can look at it during that brief moment of time. But yeah, with those glasses, when it's in its totality and like that, whatever, 45 second, minute long period or whatever, you're not going to be able to see much.
It was 4 minutes. Yeah, it was 4 minutes. So yeah. So we took the glasses off during totality and then we looked at it and it was just it's unbelievable. It's just I couldn't get a good picture of it. It's tough to get a good picture of it. I wish I'd had a
There are
really
professional people who spend tens of thousands of dollars on camera equipment just so they can take those pictures for us.
Yeah, I mean, but if you saw some of the pictures out there, just totally,
I did.
totally fabulous experience, and glad I got a chance to do that once in my life. That is one thing off my bucket list that I can now cross: a total solar eclipse. All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives. Troy Hutchinson's going to join us a little bit later. He'll join us in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll get an update on U of A spring football. A lot happening with your Wildcats on all of the sports teams. The baseball team is still hot. The softball team's getting hot. Pima softball is still hot. We'll talk about all that. This is your show. DKL the Sports Tip. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Grant Road at I-10, collision reported Grant Road at I-10. Other wrecks, Valencia near 12th Avenue and also Euclid north of Speedway Boulevard. 49 the overnight low, 84, sunny tomorrow and breezy, and 74 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. Why make things harder than they need to be? There's a better way to save time and money. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Hi, I'm Alex Medina, new owner of Oro Ford. Everybody's talking about it. It's my 2+2 guarantee. 2% lower taxes, plus I'll beat any new Ford deal in town by 2%.
Oro Ford, where 2+2 equals Ford.
Economy Plumbing Service. If water goes through it or to it, we do it. 885-3510.
This just in. Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in Southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Fun for the crew, fun for the family, fun for everyone. Dave & Buster's is the place to be for all things fun. With hundreds of awesome games, massive screens showing every single game, and their incredible menu of top-notch food and drinks. There's no better place to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's. Make Wednesday the highlight of your week at Dave & Buster's by experiencing half-price games on Wednesdays. That's right, every arcade game half-price. Dave & Buster's at Tucson Marketplace, your Wednesday game day viewing spot.
It's time to roll out the red carpet for, well, new carpet. There's no better time than right now at the Home Depot, where the more you buy, the more you save. Save up to 15% on select special order carpet styles you love from brands you trust. And installation is included on qualifying purchases. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid April 11th through April 28th, 2024. Receive up to 15% off select special order carpet purchases. Minimum purchase required. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
Dan Orlovsky, are you still a Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback available in the draft guy?
I think the three things that make it stand out for me are, number one, I think his ball placement versus man coverage is the best in the draft. Every quarterback in the NFL is accurate. He's got the best on tape. Number two, most transferable stuff to the NFL. And then I think the third thing is pocket peace.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Ballard 3 for 10 in the series. All three hits yesterday and grounds one to the left side. Mason White is up with it. He'll fire to first for the out. That's the inning. That's the ball game. And that is the series sweep for La Tech in the ninth. Nothing across. The Wildcats win at 5-2. They take 3 here at High Corbett over the Bulldogs. They head to Phoenix to face Grand Canyon on Tuesday, winners of 11 straight games.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Well, there were several things. We were talking about the Tucson Roadrunners and the Arizona Coyotes that happened while we were gone. There were several things that did not happen while we were gone on vacation for a week. The U of A baseball team, as you heard right there, did not lose a game. And neither did the Pima softball team. They did not lose a game. The Lady Aztecs are 33-8. They have won 24 games in a row. I don't know if that is a record in their program, but they're rolling, and so is U of A baseball. The fellas have won 11 straight games. And J-Dub, I was looking before the show just to see, okay, the defending champions are the LSU Tigers, coached by none other than former U of A coach Jay Johnson. And I figured, I was looking at the rankings because I knew I don't think before we left Arizona was ranked, but they were ranked as of last week, and I was looking to see what they were ranked this week. And I noticed that LSU is not ranked. And I'm like, wow, really? LSU's not ranked? Wait, what's going on? They're 3-12 in the SEC. The defending champions are 3-12. They got swept by Tennessee. Now, there's some good teams in the SEC this year. Tennessee is number 4. I think Vanderbilt
I'm looking
is number
at it right
6.
now. Arkansas is number 2.
Yeah.
Kentucky's number 3. And Tennessee's number 4. So that's three of the top 4.
Yeah. I mean, the SEC is loaded
A&M
this year. But Arizona's 21. Yeah, Texas A&M. Don't forget about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 5 teams in the top 10, I believe.
Yep.
But the Wildcats are number 21, and they've won 11 straight games. And none more dramatically than the game they had Saturday night against Louisiana Tech at High Corbett Field. Let's take you back to the 9th inning. Wildcats entered the bottom of the 9th down 5-0.
All right, the Bulldogs will go with their closer and one of the best in the country, Ethan Bates. 10 saves, 1-0 record, ERA of 1.98. This will be his 19th appearance, all in relief. He's allowed 6 earned runs in 27 1/3 innings. And he will face Adonis Guzman. 2 on, nobody out, bottom of the 9th. The Wildcats trailing 5-0. Here's the 2-1 to the plate, and that's looped out towards right. That's going to fall for a base hit. And the bases will be loaded with nobody out. The 3-2 pitch is hit to left field. That's in for a base hit. In to score will come Caulfield. Summerhill held at third. It's 5-1 with the bases loaded and nobody out. 1-2 the count. And Bates delivers, and that's grounded into right field for a base hit. In to score Summerhill. Guzman's going to be stopped at third. It's 5-2. 3 consecutive base hits. And the first pitch to Mikalakis is lined to left field for a base hit. Guzman will score. Corona around third. He is headed home. Do you believe it? Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. And now Bates and the Bulldogs 1 strike away from winning this game. 5-4 Bulldogs. 2 out, bottom of the 9th. 0-2 on Mason White. Bates set. And here's the pitch, and it's hit in the air to center field. Back on that one, McConnell over, and that ball falls fair. Arizona's going to win it. Mason White with a 2-run double, and the Cats rally in the bottom of the 9th, and they beat the Bulldogs. Well, hold everything now. Hang on just a second. The umpires are ruling it a ground rule double, and only 1 run will score. According to the umpires now, before they've looked at the monitor, it bounced above the red line and hit the wall. And so that is a automatic ground rule double. Bates set, and the pitch. Caulfield grounds it into left field, and now it's officially over. It is over. Cats have won it. Amazing 9th inning rally. 6-5 Arizona. Are they cardiac or what?
How about those cardiac Cats? They have, I think that's their fourth home walk-off win.
Well, they had
this season.
They had 3 in a row, right?
Yeah, against UCLA.
They're so cardiac, DK. They made poor Brian Jeffries walk off
twice.
2 walk-off calls. That's how cardiac they are, yeah.
That is something. That is something to see. That baseball team right now, again, they are 21st in the nation. They're going to take on Grand Canyon tomorrow on the road. It'll be the second of 3 meetings between these 2 teams this year. They're going to play 3 times. Arizona, 11 straight wins, the longest active win streak in the nation, the longest in a season for the Wildcats since 2012, when the Wildcats won it all. And they've not won 12 games in a row, which they can do tomorrow with a win over Grand Canyon, and that's never easy because the Antelopes are really good.
A game versus GCU that will be here on our station.
Yes.
At 6:50.
We will have coverage of that game for you tomorrow night. It would be, if they win, the first 12-game winning streak by an Arizona baseball team since 1976.
Wow.
And I do believe the Wildcats won the national title in 1976 as well.
Yeah.
So there's precedent. In years where the Wildcats have won 11 or 12 games in a row, they've won a national title. And we talked about this pitching staff. I mean, it is among one of the best in the nation. Currently the 8th best team ERA in the country at 3.70. Wildcat pitchers also lead the nation in walks per 9 innings. Only two walks per 9 innings. That, to me, that's the big key, especially in college baseball. You just cannot put runners on, give away free passes in the game of college baseball. They also rank 3rd nationally in strikeout to walk ratio, 4-1 strikeouts per walks this season for this Arizona Wildcats pitching staff. And how about Mason White? Continues to lead the Pac-12 in runs batted in. He's got 46. He's 2nd in home runs. He's got 13. And that's the most by an Arizona shortstop since 1998. Wildcats will put Braden Zastro on the mound tomorrow. A game, again, will start at 6:50. We'll have coverage here. 7 o'clock, first pitch for the Wildcats and the Antelopes of Grand Canyon. And then the Wildcats are back home this weekend for another home series as they'll continue Pac-12 play against Washington State. We will be live from the ballpark on Friday. So join us out at High Corbett Field. Once again, we'll be back out there. We've got 4 more of our High Corbett baseball shows that we're going to be doing this spring. So this will be number 3. We'll be out there Friday from 3 to 6 prior to the start of the series against the Cougars. It'll be the final Pac-12 series against the Cougars. Now, the interesting thing about this schedule for Arizona is it was somewhat front-loaded in terms of the way the Pac-12 has started to size up. They have not yet really begun to play any of the really, really good teams this year. Those are all teams. Obviously, they played Oregon early, and that was a series on the road, and the Wildcats were swept in that series. But you still got to play Oregon State. That could be, because that's the final series of the season. It's here in Tucson, and that could be a series for the Pac-12 championship coming up May 16th, 17th, and 18th. That'll be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series ahead of the Pac-12 tournament in Scottsdale. So get your tickets now for that series, because that could be a bar. We're still looking, again, that's still a month away. You still got Utah. You got to go on the road to Utah. You got to play Stanford here at home. Stanford is one of the best teams in the Pac-12. You still got to go to Washington, and you got Washington State here at home this weekend. So there's still 4 series to go before you even get to Oregon State, and you still got to go to ASU for that one non-conference game. But that could be a series to really, really look forward to if the Wildcats continue to play.
We didn't mention, but the Beavers obviously have been good for quite a long time. They're 5th currently in the standings in the this week's rankings. And DK, talking about 11-game winning streak for the Cats.
Yeah.
Oregon State this year is 29-5 so far.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good for sure. They're 10-4 in the Pac-12. Oregon is 10-5. I mentioned lost 2 or 3 to them on the road. Arizona, even with Oregon at 10-5, and then Utah. That'll be another series you got to go play on the road at 9-6. You've already beaten USC 2 out of 3. They're 10-7. Stanford will come in here 7-8. So again, some big series still to play. Washington State 7-11 right now, followed by Arizona State and UCLA, surprisingly near the bottom, along with Washington at 5-10 in Pac-12 conference play. Lots of fun there. lots of fun had as well across town this weekend at Hillenbrand Stadium. The ladies started their series with a win on Friday night.
As Scoops average up to 339. She sends this one high and deep to left center field. Turning and watching as that goes well up the bleachers is Luchar. And Scoop is able to continue the hot stretch by putting the Wildcats up 2-0 here in the bottom of the third. And it set the stage for DiNardo. She swings at that one, sends it high and deep to center field. Back on it is Delgado, but it's gone.
Back-to-back home runs on Friday night from Carly Scoopon and Olivia DiNardo. We'll get to more Olivia DiNardo news here in a moment. That gave the Wildcats the win on Friday night over Oregon. They lost, however, on Saturday, so it was a rubber game on Sunday. And how about some more walk-off action for the Wildcats?
Oregon, with all of the infielders in, the 0-1 slap to the left side. Going to be gloved, coming home, and not in time. Now, surely this is going to be reviewed. No, she's safe. It is official. Perez Chico walks off as the Wildcats win on a ground ball that went about 40 feet down the third baseline.
Jasmine Perez Chica with the walk-off infield single to give the Wildcats the win. Olivia DiNardo, I mentioned her, had that home run. She is your Pac-12 Player of the Week this week. Hit 500 over the weekend. Wildcats last week won 5 games, as they also had a midweek game that they were able to, 2 midweek games, actually. It was a doubleheader against New Mexico State. So they went 4-1 for the week. She had the 2-run double. Or I'm sorry, a run rule doubleheader was the game that the Wildcats won. They beat New Mexico State in both of those games by run rule, 17-8 and 11-3. And then she had the home run in game 1, and then had another 2-run home run in the game to give the Wildcats a win over the weekend as they split that series. So second career Player of the Week for Olivia DiNardo, as she was named Freshman of the Week last year. And actually, interestingly enough, the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week this week is Utah's Mariah Lopez from none other than Cienega High School. So congratulations to Mariah Lopez. She helped lead the Utes to the NCAA tournament last year and is back doing great things again. She won all 3 of her starts last week, 20 strikeouts in 17 innings, allowed just 1 earned run, did Mariah Lopez. So she's having a fabulous, fabulous senior year up at Utah for the Utes. All right, DK on the sports tip. We're going to have much more coming up. We'll talk we'll talk about the transfer portal coming up here in the 4 o'clock hour. It was open for business. It's going to be open for business even more starting tomorrow. We'll dive into that. Some interesting things in terms of the basketball side of the transfer portal since we last spoke to you. So we'll get J-Dub's thoughts and give you some thoughts on the departures of both Oumar Ballo and Kylan Boswell.
Or how about the departure of John Calipari?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that.
That was pretty big as well.
Well, you just mentioned because the transfer news is hot and heavy right now, DK. And the last thing I just read 15 minutes ago was about the center from Kentucky going to Arkansas. So it's just a whole lot of transferring right now.
There is. Welcome to the college sports as we know it right now. DK on the sports tip. J-Dub's here. Cricket is here as well, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. And weather together. Grant Road at I-10 crash clearing Grant Road at I-10 with some westbound slowing westbound backups on Grant Road approaching I-10. And for our weather, 49, the overnight low 84. Sunny tomorrow and breezy 74 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Truck season. It all starts with a few simple rules. Rule number 1, buy a truck from O'Reilly Chevrolet during truck season. Rule number 2, who cares? Truck drivers are notorious for breaking the rules. Help us celebrate our 100-year anniversary and take a test drive in Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or see us at O'Reilly.com. Rules are made to be broken. Trucks are made to be driven. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
And that's why Alaska vacations are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this.
Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out.
Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC.
Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking.
People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is, Alaska vacations come with a 1-year, no breakdown guarantee.
But
a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy.
Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city.
But
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But
cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Attention Tucson. Remember, if it's game day and the Wildcats are taking the floor, you can count on 1290 to bring you all the play-by-play action, the biggest pre- and post-game show in the Pac-12. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 of the program. Welcome back from vacation. Off last week. Went back to Ohio. J-Dub, what did you get into while we were gone last week?
Mostly just like checking things off the to-do list I've been putting off for the past 9 months because we've been so busy. I watched the movies. I watched a new TV show, Paige and I. Yeah, pretty much just chilled. Just nice, relaxing.
I watched an interesting movie. I don't really watch a lot of movies.
Right.
It's really weird. Like, my wife is still in Cleveland. She stayed back to babysit some dogs for a week. And I watched a movie last night. Have you ever seen The Martian?
I have.
With Matt Damon?
I have, yes.
That was really interesting. I'd never seen that movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
And I was watching it last night about how he gets stranded on Mars and has to survive and plants potatoes and shoots himself off in this rocket, and they kind of rescue him out in the middle of space.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I like just how there's a lot of ingenuity in that, like how they communicate with each other, and they can't. Isn't there like some kind of huge like time distance between the two, so he doesn't get the messages back for like a couple hours after he sends it, type of thing. Yeah, but yeah, a good movie, very good.
Yeah, that was a very good movie. Watching last night,
I watched the new TV series Fallout.
Ooh.
Because I wouldn't consider myself a gamer, meaning a person who plays video games on a regular basis, but I grew up in that era, DK. Like, growing up in the mid 80s, it was all about arcades and whatnot. So being a graphic designer and having spending a lot of time developing 3-dimensional spaces and doing 3D rigging and animation, all that such, I've always had a fan. And Fallout is a series going back to the mid 90s, and that came out. It's got a lot of buzz. Really, really well done for what it is. I mean, you kind of have to have some kind of idea of what you're getting yourself into, because it's really, really out there. But yeah, I for those people who've ever played a Fallout game, I can't recommend it enough. Really well done.
All right, we're getting ready for the WNBA draft, which is about to take place in Brooklyn, New York. The Phoenix Mercury do not have a first-round pick because they traded out of the first round. They initially had the number 3 pick, but traded that during the offseason to instead acquire players. This, too, is not a question of the day, but you can certainly chime in on it at 520-848-1290. But was that the right decision? Because this might be as star-powered a filled draft as we've had in WNBA history. When you think about the young ladies that are coming out, and the Phoenix Mercury had the number 3 pick, but they traded it way back in February to acquire some established players. It was a little bit of a surprising trade. The Chicago Sky, with the Chicago Sky, they picked up Kalia Cooper in exchange for 4 picks, including the number 3 pick, and the Mercury also trading away Brianna Turner, I should say, and Michaela Onwere, who played at UCLA. But was that the right decision by the Mercury in this draft? It was clear at that point. And again, this is an older Mercury team. They're not young. We talked about Diana Taurasi. She's 41 years old. I think I just almost said 81. Diana Taurasi is 41 years old.
If she was still playing professional basketball at 81, that would be a real big story.
She probably will be.
Yeah,
I mean, Diana's that good. She will be. They've got Brittany. Brittany, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I would imagine she's probably in her mid-30s or early to mid-30s. So
Brittany Griner is 33.
33, right. So they've clearly bought into, we want established players to try to put ourselves back into a position to win a WNBA title and not go with young stars coming out. Because again, and you always have to evaluate drafts from the standpoint that, okay, everybody knows Caitlin Clark, by far the best player coming out at 1. You're not going to get her because, again, there was nothing that the Indiana Fever were going to trade to give you that pick. Then you've got Cameron Brink, a double-double, walking double-double machine at number 2. You weren't going to get her, so then you have to to figure out what you've got after that and how that relates to where you are in your system. I mean, Camila Cardozo doesn't fit if you're going to keep Brittany Griner,
right?
So you're not gonna make that draft selection. And then Angel Reese, was she? That's probably the next pick. Although I think most people believe she might go 4 or 5 in this draft. So did you feel like you could get a more established veteran player to help you now versus a young Angel Reese who's going to come in and again, they're still rookies. Just because these girls were the best players in college basketball doesn't make them any less rookies. And I thought it was funny. I don't know if you watched any of the Bird Taurasi show.
I had it on, yeah.
When they talked about how Diana Taurasi talked about how, we just want to eat these rookies for lunch.
Right.
When they come into the league.
Well, here's my question to you. We all remember when the WNBA was formed, and what ended up happening was the stars were not 19, 20, 21-year-olds, DK. The stars were 29-year-olds who had been out of college for 5 years. Right? I mean, wasn't it Swoops?
Yeah.
Who was like MVP for the first 3 years, and she hadn't just finished college. So what I'm getting at is when has there ever been such an impact rookie or even second-year player in the WNBA to lead their team to great success in the postseason?
Right.
Like, I'm trying to remember, and it feels to me like most of the teams that are successful and make deep runs in the playoffs are those players who are 27 to 34 in their primes, right? The faces of the league. And so maybe the thought process and the idea from the Phoenix, as you just said, the Mercury, is you've already got so much veteran presence on the team. Bringing in a young player and having to teach them the ropes, maybe not exactly the best case scenario if you have the option to bring in veteran players you think might mesh better. And of course, it's all about the personalities intermingling and those people really liking playing with each other as well. So those decisions, as you said, were made how many months ago?
Yeah.
You said January?
February, that trade was made.
So, I mean, that clearly they looked at the landscape of what was going to be available. We all know women's college basketball, you can't leave until you're 23 or you've exhausted your eligibility. So it's not as if they are waiting to the last second to figure out who's going to be putting their names in the draft. You know what I mean? Like, they've got an idea of who's available.
And that's part of it was, when they made this trade, we were still talking about whether some of these girls were going to stay. So there really wasn't a defined, there wasn't a defined a level of who was coming out at that point. So again, but those are you got to make those decisions. It's like anything else. You can't wait. We can't wait to find out if Caitlin Clark is coming out. We can't wait to find out if Angel Reese is coming out. We got to do what's best for us now in February and then let the chips fall where they may. So we're going to find out if that was the right decision by the Phoenix Murray. I mean, Kalia Cooper, a former finals MVP when they won it in Chicago back in 2021. So that's a again, when you put her with Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner, that's a pretty good big three on the women's side for the Phoenix Mercury to potentially make a run back in the Western Conference. So we're going to see how that all plays out here very shortly. Get your tickets now. The season starts in about a month. Is that the right decision? No, we'll take your calls on that. 520-848-1290. Did the Mercury make the right decision, trading out a number 3, getting an established Finals MVP to put with their 2 veteran all-stars, Hall of Famers, really? I would think both. Taurasi's definitely a Hall of Famer. I think Brittany Griner's probably as close to a Hall of Famer.
Taurasi's the statue in front of the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, the transfer portal was opened while we were gone, and some guys got in it on both the football and the basketball side. Kylan Boswell went in. I think that actually happened right before we left, was the Kylan Boswell one. I remember, in fact, I tweeted out last Monday because I was just about ready to watch my eclipse when I started getting the information that Oumar Ballo had entered into the transfer portal. Not surprised by the Kylan Boswell situation, and then obviously ultimately not surprised he ended up at home at Illinois.
Yeah.
Good for him. But I was a little surprised by Oumar Ballo and his decision to leave. And it's, again, we're in an era of college sports where even though you have these athletes who have this extra year, coaches also are in positions where they've got to figure out, look, how long do I keep a kid in a program? How long can I let a kid stay in a program when I got these other guys behind him who, one, we had to redshirt last year, and Dylan Anderson, there was no place to put him. I got another guy coming off the injured list in Henry Vasar, and I got a big man who I needs to get those reps with the first team in Mateus Krivas. Yeah, so as much as you love Oumar Ballo and you love to have him back, Tommy Lloyd also is in a situation where he has to ask himself, is that the right thing for my program?
Well, the conversation you started last week was, is it better to bring in 4th-year, 5th-year guys through the transfer portal to, basically empower the roster you've already got, or better to bring along those freshmen, sophomore, let them wait their time, get within the system, and what's the better formula for developing a winning basketball program? And this is that situation. I mean, everybody loves Oumar Ballo. The coaching staff, the fans, Tucson in general loves him, and he loves Tucson. This is not Oumar Ballo deciding to leave here because of any negativity. It's the opposite. He, I'm sure in his camp, knows that the program as a whole will be stronger and better if guys like Vesar and Krivas are given starters and or 6th, 7th man minutes next season. I think we would all love to see Oumar Ballo finish his 5th year, COVID year in Tucson. And I don't think that I think it's a positive for the program as a whole. I think it's positive because those guys that Coach Lloyd's bringing in now really you can't figure out exactly what they have and what they don't have unless they're actually in real games.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's interesting how, again, when we talk about COVID 5th years and how we look at that now, it's like there's disappointment because you fall in love with this kid and he's been here 3 years. But, again, under the normal cycle, he'd have been leaving this year anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you fall in love with the idea of getting that one more year because it's available under this pandemic-induced rostering structure that we've been under for the last.
I'm sure the first
years.
blush from the first reaction from most Tucsonans who read that news in the paper the morning that it happened was, what happened? How come Oumar doesn't like us anymore or anything like that? But I think after some time passes, now you can recognize and understand, like you just said, 5th year. This is not a normal situation. His eligibility is over, and there are 3 guys waiting to get time on the court in that position, potentially in a high-low situation, which we didn't really see much of last year, DK. And that's a big part of that Zag system and Tommy Lloyd system is to have the 2 bigs, as you saw much from Tabelis and Coloco, and Tabelis and Oumar, and so forth and so on, and Coloco and Tabelis. So, yeah, I think having the centers on campus already makes it, I think, easier to stomach, but for the average fan. But obviously, you think of it and you think, why? What did we do wrong? What's wrong with Tucson? Was it the loss in the tournament? Did Ballo not touch the ball enough? You always look for those negatives, as an outsider, just looking at the situation, I think Oumar loves the program. I think Oumar knows better than anybody what those guys have to bring off that bench that didn't get much playing time last year because of injury or because, he was so dominant for so long. I don't see it as a negative at all. And obviously, wherever he lands, he's going to be possibly the most impactful transfer, potentially, depending on the system that he goes into. Because that's an established player who can bring you 13 consecutive double-doubles and commands a lot of space down there and does all those things that he does well. So, yeah, I just wish him the best wherever he winds up.
Well, I tell you what, going back to the WNBA draft, the outfits are off the chain. We marvel at the suits at the NBA draft. Well, let me tell you, some of the ladies are decked out.
They are all
tonight
Mulkey
at the
proteges.
WNBA draft. Kim Mulkey in the house, in fact, tonight for the WNBA draft. We'll kind of give you the picks as they go down here the rest of the show. All right, we're talking about basketball transfers. Joseph Borjon has transferred out of the football program. We'll talk some Arizona football. We will be joined by Troy Hutchinson from Go AZ Cats. We'll get his thoughts. He's been out at spring football camp. I still have not seen a single practice, so I have no idea. I'll ask him to give you a sense of what's going on because I have not seen a single thing for football so far this spring. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Grant Road and I-10 collision on Grant Road at I-10. Paving work on the east side along Old Spanish Trail between Broadway and Harrison taking place through the end of this month. 48 the overnight low, 84 sunny skies tomorrow, breezy and 74 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Juicy Juice. No matter what the day brings, count on Juicy Juice for the good stuff. Give kids the nutrients of real 100% fruit juice to help them conquer the day with no sugar added and no artificial sweeteners. Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
So I wore my fancy new Christmas boots that my wife got me. Ow, it don't hurt. Got a cramp. See?
Gotta stretch before you do that.
Oh, my hip. Stop trying to do crazy gymnastics in the studio.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
At Standard Restaurant Supply, their vision and number one goal is to improve the lives of their customers and clients by providing a better culinary experience. Standard Restaurant Supply, if it's in a restaurant and not food, they have it. Open to the public, no membership fees, and they offer bulk store pricing without the bulk store purchase. Open Monday through Saturday at 601 South Cherry Avenue or call 885-2345. Standard Restaurant Supply is a proud sponsor of the U of A Radio Sports broadcast.
This is Carl's cousin, Eugene Snarkle.
With 2 E's, as in expert.
Yes, Eugene, 2 E's, as in expert on everything, aided by UberTube.
That's right, UberTube expert. I'm certain I can fix your car and stuff.
Eugene, unwavering in overconfidence, matched only by his ego.
It's effortless, really. I binge on 40 or 50 UberTube videos, cancel all the opposing opinions, grab a bag of tools, toss in a load of potentially necessary parts, and it very well could be repaired. I hope.
Extremely awful idea, Eugene. Instead, explore the option of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires at one low price with no hidden extras and lots of credible advice.
That seems a little too easy.
Indeed it is, Eugene. Easy solutions to get your car road trip ready. Start your trip online at jackfurriers.com.
For quality auto repair and affordable tires at one low price, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Are you ready? Ready to discover your soul, your wild side, your passion, your joy, and excitement? From world-class entertainment to award-winning dining to a luxurious resort. Discover all this and more. Discover with Soul at Casino del Sol, the soul of Tucson.
The official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Enterprise of the Pascua Yaqui Tribe.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the driver who treats the highway like a racetrack and the shoulder like a passing lane. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. And now try Babbel for free by texting radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's time for our Arizona Insiders.
Am I late? No, my boy, you're just in time.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions on U of A football and the Pac-12. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona football. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
All right, we have reached week 4. Week 4 of Arizona spring football camp. This is the latest spring camp I can remember in the 16 years that I've been here in Tucson. Normally, spring practice is over last weekend, but we still have 2 weeks to go, and it will not end until the spring game next Saturday, which is going to be a nighttime affair at Arizona Stadium. That should be interesting and fun for the first Brent Brennan spring football game. Let's talk some Arizona football. Pleased to be joined, as always, by our guy from Go AZ Cats. His name is Troy Hutchinson. Troy, I have not seen a single snap of this spring practice. You have seen way more than me. So what is it looking like out there for spring number 1 under Brent Brennan?
You know, it's definitely a different energy than the Fish era and the Fish staff. Not in a bad way, and, you know, just a different way of coaching. When you would go out to a Jed Fish-led spring practice, you could hear him, see him always on the field. With Brent Brennan, during the position drills, which is how they usually start, you know, their day of practice, he's off to the side, you know, talking to boosters and recruits and talking to everybody on the side there. He's letting his coaches coach the position guys, and then he'll come in and give a little critiques here and there at the wide receiver position. And then when they break into 11-on-11 and 7-on-7, that's when he dives all in. And, you know, he's very good in terms of talking to players out there on the field, not only offense, but defense as well. But he's kind of the guy that just, you know what, I have Dwayne Aquina, I have Dino Babers. These guys have coaching experience. Dwayne Aquina, I know he doesn't have head coaching experience, but 20-plus years, almost 30-plus years of football experience, and same with Dino Babers. I'm going to let them do what they need to do, and we're going to do this together, and we have one common goal, but I'm not going to, you know, have my hand in every little detail. I trust my coaches.
All right, so what in terms of what you've seen in terms of the on-the-field side of it and maybe some of the scheming that we're going to see, what has stood out to you, Troy?
Right now, what stood out to me is just really the leadership of Noah Fafita. I think Brennan talked about it with T-Mac, but you've seen Noah do it as well, is when guys run a route incorrectly or when a guy has a missed throw or a missed tackle, those two are the ones that are going out there talking to the players with the coaches as well and being like, hey, you could work on this, you could do this differently. They're bringing their teammates along, and you're seeing it from Noah Fafita to T-Mac to Jonas Salvanea. The family group that helped keep Arizona football intact in terms of everybody staying on the roster, or the vast majority, is really what's driving this camp right now and helping the coaches move players along and really integrate into the system and trying to get what they want to accomplish this spring.
Yeah, we don't necessarily hear a lot in terms of Dino Babers. I don't know if he's going to be a guy that's going to give you a lot of, quote, information. He's very to the vest, I think. But the fact that he came out a few weeks ago and referred to Noah as special, that said a lot to me about how impressed he was with this quarterback that he's working with.
Yeah, you know, and I've said it since Noah's freshman year, but you're really seeing it this season. He has a lot of Russell Wilson from Wisconsin and Russell Wilson from North Carolina State in him. And the good Russ. I'm not talking about the Denver Bronco Russ, but I'm talking about the Russell Wilson that, you know what, he's able to read the pocket, doesn't make dumb decisions with the football, will throw the ball away if nothing's there, can beat you with his legs when he needs to, but is always going to put you in the right position out there on the field. And right now, that's Noah Fafita, and his progression has continued. I think the one thing he needs to work on, and you saw it last season, even though they went on that huge run and ended in the Alamo Bowl win, was the deep ball. The deep ball still isn't great. It's not bad, but, you know, just getting the timing down on the deep ball. If he can complete that aspect of his game, this is a player that could end up in the 3rd, 4th round of the NFL draft and be a sleeper pick.
We're talking to Troy Hutchinson from GoAZCats.com. He covers the Arizona Wildcats football team, basketball team, everything else. Troy, we were just talking in the last segment about the transfer portal opening. I'll get your thoughts on the football side of this first. Really, the one name that's gone in, actually two names, really. Joseph Bourgeon has gone in from the offensive side of it. And then, obviously, the big defensive lineman also heading into the transfer portal as well. Tomorrow, it becomes kind of official. Bill Norton walking out the door. It becomes kind of official when this next portal round begins. What are you sensing is going to happen? I mean, we were talking at the top of the show as how last year Colorado lost, more than 50% of their team after spring ball. Is that going to be maybe, I'm not going to say that's going to happen here, but is that kind of going to be the norm where we may see more kids begin to leave after spring now than before spring?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's the day and age in which we live in college football. Trying to give coaches a chance, feel out the system, and going, you know what, it's not the right place for me. Let me go move on and see what's going to be the better fit for me. I don't know if we're going to see Arizona lose 50% of its roster. Probably not. I think right now, with Bourgeon and Norton in there, you have two right there. The number I look at is from 5 to 7. I would be shocked if it goes over that number, and it's going to happen. I mean, players that, haven't been getting reps in terms of the 2 deep, they're going to move on and look for new places to call home. And then, players that just want an opportunity to shine on a team that maybe isn't at the Power 5 level or, is in a different conference. It's going to happen, and, roster moving's going to happen. And Arizona right now has 16 scholarships available, so they'll be getting some guys as well. So it's just the day and age we live in, and it's something that fans have to get used to.
Okay, so what have you identified of those 16 available scholarships? What do you identified as the biggest need for this team? I still think they've got to shore up the linebacking position. I think they need one or two more linebackers to kind of put in that mix with Jacob Manu.
Well, I look at the front seven. To me, it starts with the defensive line, especially with Bill Norton being gone. I think the starting unit is solid, but when you go behind it and you have a guy like Julian Savenay, I almost said Jonah, but his brother Julian, who's an outside edge rusher lining up at D tackle in the 2 deep because Bill Norton's not there. That's a problem. That's not great depth at the defensive tackle spot right now for Arizona. So maybe a big defensive lineman is something that they would want to add. An edge rusher, you could always use an edge rusher. Then from that point on, I would probably go cornerback. I know, Javon Celestine has had a really good camp. But if you could get that legitimate number 2 and move Javon maybe as the guy coming off the bench to fill a role here and there and help his progression, I think that'd bode well for Arizona. And then, not a lot of people talk about this, but you have the quarterback, the starting quarterback. Brandon Dorman is still a work in progress. He's developed, but can you throw him into a middle of the game when Noah goes down? I think you could put him in a game if you have a week to prepare. So I look for Arizona to get 1, maybe 2 quarterbacks. What Brennan talked about that. Maybe a guy from New Mexico or a Princeton, somebody that's just a veteran leader that can run the system if, chaos hits the fan, we'll say. And just looking at that, I think those are the 3 biggest needs. To me, linebacker, they could use one more, but if you look at the 4-2-5, they have enough to get away with it in this conference, and they have enough depth and enough talent there. If they add one, that's great. If they don't, I think they're okay.
Troy Hutchinson from GoAZCats.com joining us, talking Arizona Wildcats spring football. Okay, Troy, do you want to prognosticate one surprising name that might leave?
No, because I don't think that is fair to kids that are working there. And, if you go, oh, this kid's leaving and then they're there the next week, they're not going to be very happy with you. So I'm not going to prognosticate anybody who's on the current roster that would be entering the portal.
Smart man there. Smart man. All right. What were your thoughts on the decisions on the basketball side by Oumar Ballo and Kylan Boswell to move on?
A little bit shocked with Ballo. I thought, he perfect fit to stay with Arizona and Coach Tommy Lloyd. But, clearly I think one of the things is you got to start playing the younger guys, and you need to start looking for NIL if you're Oumar as well. And we know the international players, there is a limit in terms of what you can do with NIL with the taxes and all that, they've been trying to work around that in terms of the working visa with that. So looking for a better opportunity, maybe NIL-wise for him, good for Oumar. Kylan Boswell, I don't think that's a big surprise to most Arizona fans. Felt like a situation where it was best for the two to go their separate ways. Kylan going back home to Chicago and Champaign, Illinois. Not Chicago, but Champaign, Illinois. It might be a better fit for him in the long run, not only for right now, but just his whole entire career path as well.
Do you think it's a problem that Tommy Lloyd hasn't maybe defined what he wants? Or maybe he has defined what he wants in a point guard, but he just hasn't found that person yet?
I think he knows what he wants. He wants somebody that can be that pass-first point guard that can run the up-tempo offense, but has a threat to, drop 10, 15 points a game. The problem is he hasn't found a consistent enough player, whether it be Kylan or Kerr Kriisa, that can give you that 10 to 15 points as well. You saw Kylan go through stretches where he had a 20-point game in the NCAA tournament. And then all of a sudden you have a game where you have 0 rebounds, 0 assists, and 0 points. Kerr Kriisa kind of similarly, I don't think he had a 0 on the scoreboard, but he had those games where he would shoot you out of the game. So you need somebody that can lead this offense, but knows how to pick their spots to get their buckets when they need it most.
Troy, what are we hearing about spring game next week? Any major star power, anything on tap that fans can look forward to for this nighttime affair at the stadium?
It's very different from the Jetfish era in terms of, we're going to have this guy, that guy coming out and, doing a, what was it, the Guinness Book of World Record catch with Gronk, where they dropped it out of the helicopter. I don't think you're going to see anything like that, but I do expect a lot of alumni, a lot of former players to be back. Again, the excitement level for Coach Brennan is very high with everybody surrounding Arizona football, and he has all the alumni's support, and they just can't wait to get out there and see what this team can do. Maybe you'll see, a Teddy Bruschi. Maybe you'll see a Marcus Bell, somebody like that of the 90s. I'm sure there's going to be players coming for the spring game and seeing what Arizona's all about this year.
All right, so you wouldn't give us who you thought was going to transfer. Do you have a favorite assistant coach yet? You want to give us that, Troy?
This assistant coaching staff is pretty interesting. It's a really good group of character guys. Alonzo Carter with, the MC Hammer stuff, and he kind of reminds me of Bill Walton in a way, in terms of you ask a question and it's a 7 to 8 minute answer, and you're not sure if he answered the question, but you definitely got something out of it. But no, he's great to talk to. Dino's been great. One of my personal favorites who I haven't got to talk to yet, we talked to when they had the assistant coaching interviews, is Danny Gonzalez from New Mexico. Just a very interesting character and kind of straightforward. And, this whole entire staff has been great. There hasn't been one interview where you go, that guy doesn't like to do interviews. Yeah. But it's a very interesting group of characters.
I liked Matt Atkins when I got a chance to talk to him, and I saw he was up there last. I think he was there Saturday with you guys, brought his little kid up there with him. He seems like a fun-loving guy. The one thing that he said in our conversation was when I asked him about tight ends, he was like, I said, "Oh, did you play tight end?" He's like, "No," and I told these guys right from the get-start that I've never blocked anybody. I like Matt Atkins. He seems like a really, really cool young coach up on the rise. Hey, Troy, look forward to seeing you out there. I'm going to try to get out there this Saturday and see a little practice. I have not seen a practice yet, so I think this Saturday will be the day I get out there and get my eyes on these guys. Look forward to seeing you out there and look forward to having you on again down the line.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Troy Hutchinson, go azcats.com.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here is Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported 6th Avenue north of Ajo at 6th Avenue and Veterans Boulevard, Grant and Wilmot, also Broadway and Craycroft. Backups on southbound La Cholla at Ajo, also more slowing at Ajo Way and Mission. 49 the overnight low, 84 sunny tomorrow and breezy in 73 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart. Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is here to satisfy morning cravings with its warm, sweet cinnamon sugar rolled dough, ooey gooey texture, and signature cream cheese frosting. Get the best part in every bite this morning with Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart. Only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Hi, I'm Alex Medina, new owner of Oro Ford. Everybody's talking about it. It's my 2+2 guarantee. 2% lower taxes, plus I'll beat any new Ford deal in town by 2%.
Oro Ford, where 2+2 equals Ford.
You know how we Wildcats love our games. And there's no place better, closer, or safer to game than Desert Diamond Casinos. Filled with hundreds of the newest, loosest slots, dozens of your favorite table games, and superior food and beverage options. Desert Diamond is the #1 destination for your free time fun festivities. Bear down for the best time in Tucson. Go to Desert Diamond Casinos. Go Cats!
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we fight. We fight for accident victims, injured workers, abused seniors, those harmed by dogs, negligence, or malpractice. We fight the government and big corporations. And most importantly, we fight the insurance companies. We've been fighting for Arizonans since 1989. We go to court, we fight, and we win. Call Goldberg and Osborne and let the Eagle fight for you. Now accepting work injury cases.
Let's see, something different for dinner. Searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Gee, same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you. Because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm a big believer in investing into what the wealthiest people in the world invest into. But it's not easy to know exactly what that is, and it hasn't always been possible for regular folks like you and I. But that's changing. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and if you've done a good job acquiring some assets, now is the time to consider private equity. Private equity is ownership of private companies that aren't traded on the stock market and in most cases are very exclusive. Examples could include ownership of apartments or nursing homes, dental practices, solar farms, you name it. Why do so many billionaires invest into private equity? Because of historically low correlation to the stock market and historically higher returns. If you have a goal with your portfolio but aren't there yet, call Trajan Wealth today. Call 321-4100. That's 321-4100.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. May require accreditation.
Cactus RV and Marine, now offering consignments on RVs, travel trailers, boats, trucks, cars, and SUVs. Sell without the hassle and let Cactus RV do it for you. Cactus RV and Marine is also a local independent service center, so they can help keep your RV, travel trailer, toy hauler, and boat in pristine condition and ready to sell. A true one-stop shop. Call now, 888-2233. Visit cactusrv.com or visit them at their original location on Romero, just north of Prince during I-10 construction.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number to no one's surprise. The Indiana Fever in the WNBA draft have selected Caitlin Clark. She averaged 32 points per game this season, leading Iowa to the national championship game where they finished as the runner-ups to South Carolina. First D1 player to score over 3,800 points, have 1,000 assists, and 950 rebounds in her career. She is headed to the Indiana Fever, who made the absolute smart decision in not trading that pick.
How much freedom is she going to have? Because I got some stats. You ready?
Yeah.
So last year, as I've said several times, she averaged 14 threes a game.
Yeah.
Okay. Averaged 14 a game. The WNBA leader last year in three-point attempts a game was 8.5.
Wow.
In WNBA games. So she was given so much unbelievable freedom to launch from 30 feet out, Steph Curry style, because she can. And the question then becomes, do you transform your entire system around a player like that and let her get up 30 shots a game and see if she can score 50 or 60 points or whatever? It's going to be interesting to see. Or if that number comes down to something more standard, like 8 threes is a lot of threes to take in a game. 14 threes per game on average, DK, is astronomical.
I mean, again, I think eventually, I don't think she does that right away, but I think if she's proves that she can be a consistent 40% three-point shooter, then maybe, yeah, I think you do start maybe seeing if you can get her maybe in the 8 to 11 range per ball game. But yeah, I don't think she comes in shooting 14 right out of the gate in the professional realm at all. Especially not because they've got some pretty decent scorers on that team when you look at Aaliyah Boston and some of their other players. So I don't think that they necessarily need her to come in and shoot that many threes.
And she's very unselfish. Obviously, if you watch her play, she's not trying to jack up a shot every time she gets the ball. It's just curious because her play style, to me, I've watched a lot of her games, and she really has so much freedom with the Hawkeye system, and I'm curious to see how much that translates.
We'll be seeing that for sure as the WNBA season is upon us. Caitlin Clark is the number 1 pick in the draft.
I like her style because she's got this outfit that's very
Prada.
Professional.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like a cream color. There's not a lot of shininess, and yet underneath, it's all the sequins and the shininess, so it peeks through every once in a while.
Exactly. I told you, man, there's some style going on here tonight.
Got to.
At the WNBA draft. These ladies know how to bring it.
The NBA draft fashion used to be the funnest.
Oh, yeah.
To watch every year.
Yeah.
It's kind of changed. It's not quite the way it used to be, but an 18-year-olds back before NIL and before you could make money it was like go out and rent, a zoot suit or whatever. Like there were always some crazy like LeBron era where Carmelo and they had those pointed shoulders and all that.
Well, they brought that commercial. Did you see the commercial with the pointed shoulders with Carmelo and those guys?
Yep.
That was funny. Some of those suits back. Whoa, yeah.
It used to be, what are they going to wear was about the biggest topic of conversation going in.
Yeah, man. They even got the State Farm guy. What's his name? He's at the draft. He's so popular. What's the guy that does the commercials?
I don't know his name.
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah,
absolutely. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. WNBA draft happening tonight. Again, one of our questions we're asking, not our question of the day. We'll get to that here momentarily. But did the Mercury make the right decision in trading out of 3, picking up a bona fide finals MVP in Kalia Cooper to add to their mix to put themselves with an older lineup, a more veteran lineup, in a position to compete in the WNBA's Western Conference against what is now the 2-time defending champion Las Vegas Aces? I mean, that's a team, when you talk about young players who have come in and how sometimes it takes a little while. It took a couple of years, for that Las Vegas Aces team to come together around Kelsey Plum, but that they have done that now. And they are a dynamic squad over there in Las Vegas to deal with in the Western Conference. So whatever you're doing is designed to try to knock them off their pedestal. And so have the Mercury made the right decisions with the way that they have decided to go? On the men's side, now we've got the NBA playoffs set. And by the hair of their chinny chin, the Phoenix Suns snuck out of the play-in round and got the 6th seed thanks to their win Sunday over the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Lakers' victory. I believe they beat Utah, if I'm not mistaken, to seal the 6th seed for the Phoenix Suns. So now the Suns are going to play the team that they played on Sunday.
Pelicans.
The
Lakers beat the Pelicans, and that gave them
they beat the
spot,
Pelicans. Correct. So the Suns are going to play the team that they played on Sunday in the first round. The Minnesota Timberwolves, who slid at times this season, they were in that number 1 spot. Finished in the number 3 spot, obviously, with the injuries that they concurred down the stretch. And so it's going to be a very interesting series between the Timberwolves and the Suns coming up. Initial thoughts on that, J-Dub?
Well, first and foremost, I watched the NBA this weekend. I normally wouldn't because the end of the season doesn't matter. But the fact that the 3 top teams in the West were all tied. And there were no games on Saturday. It was really weird. They decided to take a day off Saturday, so 0 games on Saturday. But I did watch Victor Wembanyama's final game because he didn't play in his last game, which was versus the Denver Nuggets, right? And they had this crazy comeback and ended up winning that game and that put the Oklahoma City Thunder in the number 1 spot in the West. As far as the Suns go, I mean, we knew it was going to be a bit of a slog. There's different styles to how you're going through an NBA season, okay? Young teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder are trying to prove to themselves and prove to everybody else that they belong there. They're a team to be reckoned with. You watch what we're going to do, all this stuff. Every single night, 82 games, David Kelly, you're bringing it, right? I mean, those guys, and a lot of the same similarities to the roster of the T-Wolves. The Suns, on the other hand, their best players are all well past. They're all in their early to mid-30s, okay? And so they're just trying to make it through the season. They know they've got the firepower because the NBA playoffs is a whole different animal. It's so different when you play a team consistently day in, day out. Those minor adjustments you make, you already know the scout, you know what the tendencies of the players you're playing against. So the Suns, to me, were never going to be a 1, 2, or 3 seed in the West, no matter what they did this year, because there's just not – you don't have the legs to play the 82 games with guys, like Kevin Durant, and Beal, who's obviously been injured off and on these last few seasons. So, yeah, I mean, I think the 6th spot, not having to go that one and done scenario, right? You have one bad shooting night, you have one injury to one of your major players that game, and then your whole season's gone. Obviously, they've avoided that sticky situation, but I'm not surprised where they are. I kind of figured start of the season they would be 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that.
All right, so this is what we've got in the Western Conference in terms of the play-in round. You've got the Pelicans taking on Golden State, and then you've got the Lakers and the Sacramento Kings in the 8-9 round. So those will be
other way. No, it's the other way around. Yeah, Pelicans, Lakers.
Oh, Pelicans, Lakers.
And Kings, Warriors.
Okay,
yeah.
My bad.
I know that because the Kings, Warriors, the only intriguing of these 4 play-in games to me is that one. I mean, I know that, Zion versus LeBron will certainly draw some viewership. But to me, just the idea of, what Fox and those guys in Sacramento have been doing the last few years, Sabonis led the league in rebounding versus the old guard Warriors, with not their vintage team. But that's a good matchup to me.
So the second pick in the WNBA draft is Cameron Brink from Stanford. She'll go to the LA Sparks. So she will be playing with Ari McDonald, who was traded over there
to nobody's
during the
surprise.
No, exactly. So that's a nice pickup for the Sparks, who were one of the more dominant teams in the WNBA back in the early days when they had the likes of Lisa Leslie and some others. So Cameron Brink will stay on the West Coast to play her professional basketball as well. So the Suns will play the Timberwolves in the first round. The Timberwolves will have home court there. It'll be the Clippers and the Mavericks in the 4-5 series. The Clippers being the 4 seed there. The Nuggets then get the 2 seed, and Oklahoma City is the 1 seed in the West. The play-in tournament on the other side of the coin will be then Philadelphia, Miami, and Chicago, Atlanta. And then the 1 seed goes to Boston. The Knicks are the 2. The Bucks are the 3. The Bucks will host Indiana in the first round. That was the play-in war, or not the play-in war, but the mid-season tournament. What did they call that thing again?
Yeah, the mid-season tournament.
Yeah, the mid-season tournament. The Bucks and the Pacers didn't like each other too much during that whole thing.
Here's what happened was they played each other in the semifinals there, and the Pacers won. And then they played 2 back-to-backs 2 weeks later.
Right afterward.
They played right after that. They got all 5 of the games those two teams played were over before the All-Star break. And DK, I think the Pacers were 4-1. There's a lot of trash talking. That was the whole incident with the ball.
They stole, Giannis. Somebody stole my ball.
Giannis scored 60, and someone stole the ball, and Giannis ran to the tunnel. And there's a little. And then there was also, you may remember Tyrese Halliburton hit a big 3 in that in-season tournament game. You know what he did? He pointed at his wrist. And Dame Lillard was, after the game, he said, I'm fine with it. I think it's great. He made a 30-footer to seal the win, and Tyrese Halliburton did the Dame time thing. So there's a little bit of bad blood between those. It's a burgeoning rivalry. Unfortunately, Ben Mathurin is out for the season. That's a huge reason I've been watching the Pacers a lot the last few years. But TJ is playing great.
He really playing great.
Yeah, he's playing really, really great right now. We talked early season. Remember, maybe TJ might not be in the rotation.
Right.
Carlisle was crying at a press conference because he felt so bad that he wasn't going to be able to get TJ McConnell because Aaron, Nemhard needed more playing time. But yeah, TJ obviously
you got to play it out
with those injuries. I mean, TJ tried to keep him off the court.
That's why you got to play it out. You never know what's going to happen in the course of an 82-game season and how things will go down the stretch. So
we'll talk a lot about the Suns T-Wolves, but the interesting thing to me is that the Suns were 3-0 versus the T-Wolves in this season, and by an average margin of 15 points. So the Suns really had fared well versus what is the number one defense in the entire NBA. And if you don't know and haven't watched much T-Wolves basketball, I mean, it starts and ends with Anthony Edwards, who may be the most athletic, possibly future face of the league, which is saying a lot with some of the guys that we know that are around and potentially can take that title. But they have those two bigs, and Cat just came back. He's still a little bit wobbly and whatnot. But with Gobert and Cat back there and Anthony Edwards, they got some really, really good defenders on the perimeter. It's tough. And I'll tell you what, I like the Suns because of, again, that experience in the playoff. They've got so many guys in that roster who knows what it takes to win playoff basketball completely. It's like the NFL playoffs, not the same as the regular season, right? It's a different level of intensity. And yeah, I really like that matchup with the T-Wolves, despite the fact that they have a very good defensive team. I think the Suns' firepower is going to match that defense.
All right, we'll hear from Frank Vogel coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, the Suns head coach. Big game yesterday in the win over the Timberwolves by Bradley Beal. He'll talk about that and this pending matchup between the two teams in the playoffs. Also, we'll hear from Brent Brennan in the next hour, the head football coach at the University of Arizona, get his thoughts on where things stand for spring practice. And we mentioned they've got 16 scholarships available. Where some of those scholarships might go. Brent Brennan will tell you that as well. We'll give you your Diamondbacks download. The Cubbies are in town for a series that starts tonight up at Chase Field. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket's here. J-Dub's here. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With a collision at Speedway in Rosemont and a vehicle fire, Rosemont and Speedway expect heavy travel restrictions. Also other collisions, Grant Road in Wilmot, also 6th Avenue north of Ajo at 6th Avenue and Veterans Boulevard. 49 the low, 84 and sunny tomorrow, breezy, and 72 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, they'll help you with any air conditioning, drain, or pipe issues. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected AC and plumbing experts anytime at coolwillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's coolwillies.com.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Winning the Masters is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be really hard, which is why I'm so impressed with Scotty Scheffler. Now, we all know the rap on this guy. He's too dull. He's too boring. That's why this dude's so incredible. Fact is, not everybody is going to have a big, disingenuous personality like Hefty. You can't make Scotty something he's not. And by the way, a big part of the reason why this dude is going to go down as arguably the best player of this generation is because he is a flat line, because he never changes expression, because nothing affects this dude. And right now, it is Scheffler and it's everybody else. And given that he's already got 2 green jackets, it's not a question of if he gets another one, but how many more he gets. Or are you not entertained? Yeah, maybe not. But he really doesn't care, nor should he. And that guy's here to stay. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Download the app right now. Use the code ROME for a first deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit PrizePicks.com for restrictions and details.
O'Reilly. Is your mower's battery weak or dead after winter storage? Get your mower ready for spring lawn maintenance at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase any Superstart lawn and garden battery and get a $10 gift card after rebate. Choose Superstart batteries for power, performance, and reliability exclusively at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Carl's cousin, Eugene Snarkle.
With 2 E's, as in expert.
Yes, Eugene, 2 E's, as in expert on everything. Aided by UberTube.
That's right, UberTube expert. I'm certain I can fix your car and stuff.
Eugene, unwavering in overconfidence, matched only by his ego.
It's effortless, really. I binge on 40 or 50 UberTube videos, cancel all the opposing opinions, grab a bag of tools, toss in a load of potentially necessary parts, and it very well could be repaired. I hope.
Extremely awful idea, Eugene. Instead, explore the option of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the local's choice for affordable tires at one low price with no hidden extras and lots of credible advice.
That seems a little too easy.
Indeed it is, Eugene. Easy solutions to get your car road trip ready. Start your trip online at jackfurriers.com.
For quality auto repair and affordable tires at one low price, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Final hour of our Monday show here as we kick off the week back from vacation. Glad to be with you. We'll be taking the show out on the road this Friday out to High Corbett Field, getting you set for Arizona baseball as the Wildcats will welcome in the Washington State Cougars. We're monitoring the WNBA draft tonight. We are on pick number 5 right now. Camila Cardoza went with the number 3 selection to the Chicago Sky, I believe is their Sky, yes. And that was the pick that the Sky had gotten from Phoenix in the deal that netted the Mercury Kalia Cooper. And then with the number 4 pick in the draft, the pick was Rickea Jackson. So Rickea Jackson out of Tennessee is your number 4 pick in the draft for the WNBA. So Caitlin Clark 1, Cameron Brink 2, Camila Cardoza 3, Rickea Jackson 4. Your first 4 picks in the WNBA draft. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Yesterday this weekend, I should say, we had the Masters. And that lends to our question of the day today. And I didn't really get a chance to watch much of the Masters, the first part of it. And part of that is because we have a lot of cord cutters in our family back in Ohio. And not a lot of folks who one, watch a lot of television, 2, have TVs that are set up for sports. So I'm like, it's hilarious. I can actually watch my tribe easier here in Arizona than I could in Ohio, in Cleveland. I couldn't watch it in any of the houses I was at.
Yeah, I got similar family and friends. I got a lot of friends who don't have any kind of terrestrial television access.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. I was like, I couldn't, because you can't watch MLB. It's blacked out, so I couldn't pull it up and watch it like I normally would here. So I actually had to, if I wanted to watch the Guardians game on TV, I had to go out and watch it somewhere else. And so I couldn't, and we really didn't have any TVs that were set up to watch the Masters, at least the first part that was on ESPN and cable. Until you got to the weekend portions of it. And even those, some of those TVs don't get the regular channels either. So it was very, very interesting. I got home last night and I watched the final 9 holes. I caught them at the turn and watched essentially the final 9 holes of the tournament. Scottie Scheffler runs away with it to win his second Masters in 3 years. He is the number 1 player in golf right now. And the question of the day, it just is Scottie Scheffler a guy that moves the needle for you? Does he move the needle right now, being the best golfer in the world? Head on over right now to our website. It is, or I should say, head on over to our Twitter account. It is at Wildcats1290. You can vote in our question poll of the day for the next 24 hours. Does Scottie Scheffler move the needle for you? Now, why? I mean, I watched the last 9 holes. This guy can play. I mean, he is a shot maker. I mean, was putting his approach shots. I mean, putting the ball within 10 feet pretty much every time, and then knocking down. I think he made 7 of 9, birdied 7 of 9 holes at one stretch. I mean, he was laying the number low. Guy can play, but is he a guy that moves the needle? Is the question right now. Is he that guy that you're tuning in to watch play golf on Friday or on Saturdays and Sundays right now? Does he pull you in like that? So far, 86% of you saying yes, he does. Scottie Scheffler is by far the best. He does move the needle for me as the PGA Tour's best golfer right now. He's not necessarily a guy that jumps out at you as a personality. He's not Bryson DeChambeau. He's not, Brooks Koepka. But the guy's straight out player, and he's a really good dude. And he talked a little bit, and we're going to hear some of what he had to say here coming up shortly. He talks about his faith and where that's led him in his life. But first, let's hear some of what he did on Sunday, starting with a chance to knock down a birdie at 16.
We'll call this 8 feet for Scotty Scheffler. For birdie at 16, it's outside right. Putter back, ball away, on the way, up to the cup and in. Oh, there are no more questions. Scotty Scheffler can put one arm in the jacket right now. Birdie at 16. He is 11 under par, and he leads by 4.
Now, I have never done golf play-by-play in my life. But
you gotta whisper talk.
It's interesting listening to these guys call golf on, that's courtesy of Westwood One. Westwood One carries it. We didn't carry that event here locally, but it's really interesting to listen to golf radio play-by-play people and how they describe these putts. Let's hear another one here as Scotty wrapped it up at 18.
For Scotty Scheffler, just 2.5 feet to close out his second Masters victory. 4-shot lead, just a short putt to cinch it up. Scheffler over the ball. Shuffles the feet. Scotty Scheffler putter back and in! Scotty, he's done it again. Scotty Scheffler, for the second time in 3 years, is the Masters champion.
Now, I believe that was Mike Tirico on that call
yeah,
right there.
Yeah, sounded like Mike Tirico.
Yeah, they've got a number of different play-by-play people on radio that they have positioned throughout the course that call the various holes. So you hear a number of different voices. But this apparently was the shot that really turned the tables because it was tight there. It was actually right around the time I started watching it. You had a number of guys that were, I think he only had like a 2-shot lead going into the 8th hole, and Scotty was able to get a birdie on number 8.
10 feet across the shadow, this for birdie to get to 7 under. Wonderful putt. He's such a calm watch. He gives you confidence when you're watching him. It's just like he's out for a Sunday stroll. It's absolutely marvellous.
He's such a calm watch, just like you're out for a Sunday stroll. I love that.
Well, therein lies the irony, because you're talking about whether or not a golfer has an outgoing personality, but the guys who are the best are the ones who can calm themselves in those moments, right? So, I mean, there has to be a level of chill in order to be able to win your second Masters in 3 years.
I mean, because it is as stressful an environment as you're going to find in professional golf.
I mean,
it's our Super Bowl. Just
to make a cut is enough. But if, let's say, you're among the top 10 and you're within a striking distance of the lead on the back 9 at a place like that, DK, I mean, it's impossible not to get caught up in the moment. You know, that's 5 minutes left in the game to get to a Final Four type of, there are those moments where there's just, it's so big. And again, Scheffler is just on a Sunday stroll. DK, that's what he's out there doing.
Let's hear about that birdie at 8. It was by far kind of the biggest shot that Scheffler said he made all day.
I would say the best momentum turner that I had today was the birdie putt on 8. I had 2 really good shots in there along the green. I had an extremely difficult pitch that I hit up there about 10, 12 feet from the cup, and it was a challenging read because it turned early and it was really straight at the end. So it was a putt that you really had to start on line and hope it held its line. And I poured that one in, and then it kind of gave me some good momentum, and I used that to birdie 9 and 10, and keep pushing because I knew there was birdies out there on the back 9. I had a lot of really talented players trying to chase me down, and I knew pars weren't going to get it done.
This guy's got a lot going on right now. His wife is about ready to have their first child. She apparently is like almost due. So there was some concern that maybe she might potentially go into labor during the Masters, and he might have to leave and all of that. But I want you to listen to this next segment of comments here during Scotty Scheffler's postgame press conference. He talks about his faith and how that grounds him, and how even though he's got a lot on his plate right now, how golf kind of plays all into that.
Well, I'm definitely not going to intentionally take my eye off the ball. I will go home, soak in this victory tonight. We'll definitely enjoy the birth of my first child. But with that being said, I still love competing. My priorities will change here very soon. My either son or daughter will now be the main priority along with my wife. So golf will now be, probably fourth in line. But I still love competing. I don't plan on taking my eye off the ball anytime soon. That's for sure.
You say constantly that your identity's not in your golf scores. What is it about winning and competing then that you find satisfying?
That's a really good question. I was sitting around with my buddies this morning. I was a bit overwhelmed because I told them, I was like, I wish that I didn't want to win as badly as I did, or as badly as I do. I think it would make the mornings easier. But I love winning. I hate losing. I really do. And when you're here in the biggest moments, when I'm sitting there with the lead on Sunday, I really, really want to win badly. And my buddies told me this morning, my victory was secure on the cross. And that's a pretty special feeling. To know that I'm secure for forever, and it doesn't matter, whether or not I win this tournament or if I lose this tournament. My identity is secure for forever.
James. Andy.
You were speaking about your faith there, Scotty. Could you just tell us a bit about how much it features in your head when you're actually out there on the course? Does it help you cope with the sort of vicissitudes of the wind and things like that, and bad breaks?
Yeah, I believe that today's plans were already laid out, many years ago, and I could do nothing to mess up those plans. I've been given a gift of this talent, and I use it for God's glory. That's pretty much it. So when I'm out there, I try to compete to the best of my abilities. Like I said, I really want to win. I feel like that's how I was designed. I've been that way since I was a young kid. That's always been a part of me, and I don't think that should be going away anytime soon. And I don't believe there's anything wrong with that either. But at the end of the day, like I said, my identity's secure already. And I get to go out here and compete, have fun, enjoy it. And then at the end of the day, win or lose, my identity's secure.
Kyle.
How much do you struggle with just the idea of discontentment, of needing, whether it's more wins, more money, more fame to be satisfied? And when do you find yourself most content?
Gosh, that's a good question. I feel like playing professional golf is an endlessly not satisfying career. For instance, in my head, all I can think about right now is getting home. I'm not thinking about the tournament. I'm not thinking about the green jacket. I'm trying to answer your questions. I'm trying to get home. I wish I could soak this in a little bit more. Maybe I will tonight when I get home. But at the end of the day, I think that's what the human heart does. You always want more. And I think you got to fight those things and focus on what's good. Because, like I said, winning this golf tournament does not change my identity. My identity is secure, and I cannot emphasize that enough.
Kevin.
You mentioned your life is going to change coming up. What are you looking forward most to about being a dad?
Well, looking forward to the next couple of weeks, hopefully getting a bit of sleep, and then, a couple months of probably not getting any sleep. No, but I'm excited. I think it's funny when you get married, a lot of people tend to make jokes about like, oh, your life's over, yada, yada, yada. My friends were always very excited for me to get married, but you get some people offhand just making jokes and stuff like that. When it comes to having a kid, every single person says that it changes your life and it's the most special thing in the world. So marriage has been such a tremendous aspect of my life. I cannot even imagine what being a parent is going to be like.
Scotty Scheffler, the best golfer in the world, about to become a dad, secure in who he is. His victory is on the cross. Those are some pretty impressive, pretty confident words there by him, and letting you know how he sees his life and his existence and what matters to him. And again, the question, does he move the needle for you as being the best golfer right now in the PGA? Head on over to Twitter, Wildcats1290.
Real quick.
And vote for that there.
To me, I think if you're asking golf fans, yeah, of course. I think a lot of those responses are that. But for the casual non-golf fan, it's that, it's the whole Sosa McGuire thing. The reason why so many eyeballs came to it is because why? Because they were potentially going to break a record that had stood for 60 years. Why did Tiger first come on the scene? Because he won a tournament by 12 strokes, DK, and then the next year, Grand Slam talk. Scotty Scheffler's only won one major. He's only won the Masters, done it twice.
Yeah.
Finished second in others. But I think for the casual golf fan, when the conversation comes up with this 28-year-old is on the verge of winning the career Grand Slam, that moves the needle. I think when you see a guy be dominant in one tournament or several tournaments, but doesn't have that career, he's got 3 U.S. Opens, 3 PGA championships, that whole thing, that's the caliber, I think, that when the national conversation about golf, it starts and ends with how many majors have you won, which is why this whole situation with the PGA Tour being split in half over the course of the past 3 years is really kind of thrown that all, up in the air, because you're always measured by those majors. And I think Scheffler's great. Obviously he is. And when he wins his second major, third major, I think then he'll become more of a household name, because that's how it works.
Yeah. I mean, you got, again, like you said, he's won the Masters now twice. Can he begin to stack those majors in the other events, the U.S. Open, the PGA Championship, the British Open, like the greats have done? And then maybe you begin to obviously, I mean, he's still young in his career. It was only the 5th time he's ever played the Masters.
He's 27.
Yeah,
he's very young.
He's still got a long time to go.
Golf career's like mid-40s at least.
Yeah. And I think, and real quick, just to wrap it up, I think for, like you said, the casual golf fan, I think you're going to watch the majors because they're the majors, and you're going to obviously know that he's one of those guys with a chance to win. Is he the guy that's pulling you in every week to watch the for lack of a better term, the Desert Toyota Open next week? Probably not. You're not going to necessarily watch every single event to watch Scottie Scheffler, but you're definitely going to be paying attention to him when a major title is on the line. All right, well, still to come, we're going to hear from Brent Brennan, as well as Frank Vogel, as well as you, as well as Cricket, who gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions reported Fairview and Roger Road in Fairview, Speedway and Rosemont, eastbound backups on Speedway at Rosemont, and also clearing 6th Avenue north of Ajo Way at 6th Avenue and Veterans Boulevard. 49 the low, 84, sunny skies tomorrow, 72 and breezy now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510.
Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, where we always give you a free estimate before we get started.
ROC number 113429.
Not all sports stations are built the same way. 1290 has Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, plus the NFL and the Super Bowl. Tucson Trust's 1290. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams.
Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style. And top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot. More than a window store.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-8787. That's 1-800-280-8787. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-8787. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
And that's why Alaska vacations are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this. Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out. Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC. Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is... Alaska vacations come with a 1-year, no breakdown guarantee.
But a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy. Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city. But...
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But... cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. Combat sports legend Kayla Harrison made her UFC debut Saturday, and it could not have gone any better. The two-time Olympic judo champion used a choke submission to defeat Holly Holm in the second round of their fight. This battle part of the prelims of the UFC 300 event in Las Vegas.
Tonight, on such a historic night, UFC 300, legend of the sport, Holly Holm. Tonight was very special. I mean, it probably goes Olympics, my judo world title, and I don't know. I mean, it's pretty damn cool.
Harrison won her 2 gold medals for the U.S. at the 2012 and 16 Olympics. She then moved over to mixed martial arts and competed in the Professional Fighters League, where she won the 2019 Women's Lightweight Championship. Harrison signed with the UFC just 3 months ago, and her debut victory is another chapter in her storied career. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amy Lawrence on Westwood One.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on Carol. She's more focused on hitting a high note than the car in front of her. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Taylor Swift. It's not too late for you to experience the Eras. Taylor brings the tour back to the U.S. this fall, and we put you in the running to see her in style. Win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift, including round-trip air, 2 nights hotel, $500 spending cash, and 2 of the hottest tickets on the planet.
Taylor Swift, we are sending you to see the Eras Tour this fall. Listen every day from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're giving you 4 keywords throughout the day, and I'm about to give you a keyword right now. So get ready to dial. It's a short code, 95819, 95819. Your keyword is off, like shake it off, shake it off. Off is your keyword. Text that word right now to 95819 for your chance to get in on this unbelievable opportunity to see Taylor Swift at one of 3 concerts this fall as the Eras Tour returns to the United States. Now, I understand we've already had one winner this past week from Tennessee, won the first of the 3 trips to see the concert in Indianapolis. So still 2 chances to see Taylor in New Orleans in October. $500 in spending cash. Text that keyword right now, off, shake it off, to 95819 for your chance to get in on this fabulous contest to see Taylor. And don't forget, all your details over at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Think I can sing Taylor there, J-Dub?
One more time.
Shake it off.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's okay.
It's not good at all. All right, recent picks of the WNBA draft. J.C. Sheldon goes at pick number 5. She is out of Ohio State to Dallas. And then at number 6, Aaliyah Edwards. Aaliyah Edwards was the number 6 pick to the Washington Mystics. Aaliyah is from UConn. And then Angel Reese, the popular Angel Reese out of LSU, was the number 7 overall selection. She is going to the Minnesota Lynx. And I believe we've had one pick since then as well. The 8th pick in the draft. Let me see.
Alyssa Peely.
Alyssa Peely. Thank you. Alyssa Peely is selected, and she is the number 8 overall pick in the draft.
We just had a 9th. It's I think it's Liti.
Carla Liti?
Yeah, out of France. Shooting guard.
So the first foreign player to be selected. They're running this top players available, and they've got Helena Puello on this list, J-Dub. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did.
I don't know if she'll go to number 4 now, but she was at the last, before the last pick, one of the top 5 players still available on the draft. So maybe some thinking or maybe some thought that Helena Puello could get drafted tonight.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think there's any doubt. I think if you think about how many great offensive players there are in the WNBA, DK, look no further than that, right? No. I mean, you always got to have, for all of the great offense, you got to have stoppers out there. So I think that would be why she's probably so highly regarded on those boards. Just an overall great player, but I think that defense probably has a lot to do with that.
So we'll keep an eye on that for you as well. Earlier in the show, we were talking about Pima softball. Pima softball has won 24 games in a row. Checked in with our guy Raymond Suarez over at Pima College. That is not even close to the record for Pima softball. Back in 2004, they won 36 consecutive games. Back in 2004, that was the team that won the national championship, the NJCAA national title. So this current squad under the tutelage of Rebecca Quiros has won 24 games in a row. They do not play again until later this week. I think they are actually off until Friday. So still a few more days before they go for numbers 25 and 26. But the ladies up on West Ancom having an incredible season. All right, 520-848-1290. Let's, J-Dub, in this segment, let's hear from Frank Vogel. Since we've got about 5 minutes to the next break, we'll hear from Frank Vogel, the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. The Suns are going to be playing the Timberwolves in the first round of the NBA playoffs. They are the 6th seed. The Timberwolves are the 3 seed. These two teams played yesterday. Bradley Beal went off, and the Suns win to clinch that 6th spot. After the game, the head coach.
Our guys are very motivated. We had a lot of talk the last 2 days about not moving the ball well enough offensively against SAC. The other night, our team scoring 45 points and a half. We're capable of scoring 45 points in a quarter. And we showed that in the first quarter tonight. We came in with some offensive swag, but it really was about the defensive side of the ball. I don't think I've ever been a part of a team that forced 19 turnovers in a half before. We were flying around. Our gap activity was great. Our coverage execution was great. And, it's a snapshot of what we look like when we can be at our best.
How do you take it in right now, being the 6th seed and avoiding the play?
Yeah, we're excited about it. We wanted to finish in the top 6 just to, avoid the possibility. We would have been confident in a playing game, but you avoid the possibility of a bad shooting night or a rolled ankle or something like changing the fate of your season. So, we were motivated to play all 82. It was going to take all 82. We had 10 games. 10 games ago, we looked at the quote-unquote hardest schedule in the league by far. 10 straight opponents with, that were in the top 6. And, we went 7-3 during that stretch, and we also said that level of competition is going to sharpen us and help us reach our highest level. And I think you saw that with how we played today.
Curious with Brad,
Bradley Beal is.
Go ahead.
He just went bananas tonight. He went bananas. He look. This guy's one of the best players in the world. Okay, and people see him as a good player. When he plays like this, he's one of the best players in the world because he's doing it on both ends. He's guarding Ant on the other end, and he's locking down and doing a great job, competing, doing the best he can. But see him go 14 for 21, 6 or 6 from 3, 36 points, 5 assists, right? 5 assists, and he's guarding the other team's best player, most dynamic perimeter player. Can't speak highly enough about the performance he put on today. That was something else.
There you go, Bradley Beal getting better down the stretch. That's something that the Suns definitely are going to need as they head into this postseason run and opening up this series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's going to be. Again, it's interesting. You've got some of these teams that are lower seeds, but again. The talent that the Suns bring to this series, the Warriors obviously being the 10, but I don't think there's anybody out there that does not think that the Warriors can't get to the end of this thing.
I think baseball and football, NFL and Major League Baseball, DK, your overall record for the whole regular season defines how good a team you are. The NBA is not that. Some of the teams with the best records at the end of the year are the youngest, hungriest teams that are playing full out every single night. A lot of the veterans teams, DK, they'd rather lose a game at that 82 regular season if it means saving their legs on a back-to-back and all that stuff. So I don't think the overall record, so long as you stay out of that play-in, top 6 seed, you're going to be fine.
All right, we are joined back by Cricket. So did you guys see the whole thing with Billy Joel last night?
I did. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
No, I have not.
Okay, so apparently it was Billy Joel's 100th performance live at Madison Square Garden. It was broadcast nationally, and CBS had a lot of problems yesterday. First of all, they tapped the Masters went long, so they literally tapped out of it here locally at the end of the interview of Butler Cabin. Like there was no ending. It just went to break and then to an infomercial. And so then they were already behind schedule with CBS. So literally during Billy, and I don't know if we got this on the West Coast or not. It might have just been on the East Coast because the East Coast has their own issues over there. But he's right in the middle of Piano Man, and the network just cuts out of it.
Oh, really?
And went to the news.
What?
Yeah, 2 minutes, 2 minutes before the end of the finale, right? So, everybody knows the most famous songs are always sung at the end for these legacy-type singers. So, apparently the last 2 minutes got cut off, and as a result, did you hear what's going to happen as a result?
Yes.
They're going to replay it, right?
The whole thing.
The whole thing,
The entire thing on CBS. They're going to play the entire 2 hours or whatever
CBS
it was.
released a statement saying a network programming timing error ended last night's Billy Joel special approximately 2 minutes early in the Eastern and Central time zone. So, of course, we didn't get that here. We apologize to Mr. Joel, his fans, our affiliated stations, our audience, whose viewing experience was interrupted during the last song due to the overwhelming demand from his legions of fans. Billy Joel's 100th live at Madison Square Garden will be rebroadcast in its entirety on CBS April the 19th, beginning at 6 o'clock West Coast time. That's 9 o'clock in the East.
Don't want to piss off Billy Joel fans.
No. Do not.
They better not mess this up.
Yeah, I want everybody to sing a line. Sing a line from your favorite Billy Joel song.
Oh, I can't sing.
Come on.
But I do really appreciate the longest
Sing us
time.
a song, you're the traffic woman.
Very good, see?
Sing us a song tonight.
Yeah, I think DK can sing
and
for all
we're
of us.
all in the mood for a melody, and we've got this spirit all right.
Very good.
Yeah. I think I can,
can
carry
throw
a
down.
little bit of a tune.
You can.
Not much of one, but a little bit of one.
Very good.
So there we go. All right. Well, cricket now getting you home, not singing you home, but
No.
getting you home every 20 minutes with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are clearing at Fairview and Roger Road, Speedway and Rosemont with eastbound backups and restrictions eastbound on Speedway at Rosemont and also 6th Avenue north of Ajo, 6th Avenue and Veterans Boulevard. 49 the low, 84 sunny tomorrow and 70 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
We don't have time enough to tell you the 100 reasons why you should shop at O'Reilly Chevrolet during our 100-year anniversary celebration, because this is a really short commercial.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
This report is sponsored by Discover. As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live US-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Cactus RV and Marine. Visit their original location on Romero north of Prince during I-10 construction or cactusrv.com.
The Pima County Fair is back April 18th through the 28th at the Pima County Fairgrounds with food, fun, games, and the craziest new carnival rides. Try deep fried nachos or strap in and take a ride on one of over 50 carnival rides and win prizes with games. Plus daily entertainment, concerts, and more at the Pima County Fair, 11300 South Houghton Road, April 18th through the 28th. Find out more at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Most financial advisors I know have had a moment in their career where they thought, with more control, I would do things differently for my clients' sake. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and our firm was created by advisors with the understanding that we need flexibility, control, and decision-making power to create the best experience for our clients. If you're an advisor interested in learning more about our growing firm, call me at 719-1433 to talk more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot. Best price, biggest inventory.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la. O'Reilly.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limits apply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
DJ on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm a big believer in investing into what the wealthiest people in the world invest into. But it's not easy to know exactly what that is, and it hasn't always been possible for regular folks like you and I. But that's changing. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and if you've done a good job acquiring some assets, now is the time to consider private equity. Private equity is ownership of private companies that aren't traded on the stock market and in most cases are very exclusive. Examples could include ownership of apartments or nursing homes, dental practices, solar farms, you name it. Why do so many billionaires invest into private equity? Because of historically low correlation to the stock market and historically higher returns. If you have a goal with your portfolio but aren't there yet, call Trajan Wealth today. Call 321-4100. That's 321-4100.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. May require accreditation.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, week 4 of U of A football spring camp is getting underway tomorrow. It'll be practice number 10, 11, 12, 13, 10. Sorry, 10, 11, 12 this week, 13, 14, 15 next week. So practice number 10. Tomorrow, the head coach of the Wildcats, Brent Brennan, spoke after practice last Thursday about where the Wildcats are at this point in their spring trek.
In general, is the team where you would want them to be at this period?
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I think the competition's been really good, and guys have really been competing. I think there's always room for improvement, especially this time of year. But I'm excited. Guys are playing hard, and guys are really working hard at it. Some new schemes, some old schemes. So guys are just kind of settling in. It's good. We're halfway through now, so. It's starting to look a little bit more like football.
Just in terms of execution and just how the guys are looking in a scrimmage setting, what have they shown you so far?
I think it's been good. I think our defense is a little bit ahead of the offense right now. I think that's always kind of the way in spring practice. At least that's been my experience. But I thought the offense made a nice move today. Had really good productive, late in practice, a little bit of live stuff, a little bit of thud tempo stuff. And so I thought there was some good execution, some nice plays being made by the offense. So I think any good football team, you never want it to be really one-sided. If it's one-sided, you probably got a problem. It should be some version of trading punches.
And then tight ends, just what have you seen out of that group? And in your offense, how beneficial are the tight ends to what you
Tight ends is huge for us. I think we've had a first or second team all-conference or honorable mention all-conference tight end every last 6 or 7 years at San Jose. So that's a huge position of emphasis for us. Those guys are pass catchers, they're blockers, they're route runners, and so they're critical to us. And that group is really talented and really good. And it's been fun to see that group come along. Coach Atkins is a fantastic tight ends coach, so I got extreme confidence in him.
And then Roberto Miranda, what have you heard about just his story and what he's had to overcome the last few years?
He's just such a unique kid, right? And it's funny, the first time I met him, I thought he was like an adult, I didn't know he's a guy on the team because he just looks so mature and he carries himself so mature. But what an amazing kid. And you see the progress he's making. That part of it is like his investment in improving and, meeting with his coach and his intentional way he goes about practice is starting to show up with the plays he's making in practice. I think everyone on the team's excited for him. You can hear that from the players.
You spent the first month on the job with the roster in flux because people could leave.
Yeah.
And now it's about to happen again with this window here. The uniqueness of it happening in the middle of spring practice, have you had conversation with players? Like, if you're thinking about doing this, let us know.
I've more been just talking to players one-on-one and just kind of checking in with guys. The situation we're in, that everyone in college football in, is just so interesting and so rare. And so we're all kind of going through it for the first time. And, I hope everyone stays. Yeah, I really do. I think we have a really great group of young people here. I think they really care about each other. I think it really matters to them. But people are going to make their own decisions, and those things we have to respect.
Yeah, and if someone were to decide to leave, do they stop practicing with you even though they have the potential to come back?
Yeah, I think they would. I mean, that would probably be a little more specific to each kid, It's interesting because, sometimes those things are complicated because sometimes the team is unhappy when that happens, right? And the individual chooses that because everybody in this game of football, everybody's so connected and everybody counts on each other so much. And so that'd probably be something that we'd figure out as we went. But it's hard to rep a guy if he's not going to be here, right? That doesn't make a ton of sense. You'd rather give those reps to somebody else and let them develop and get better.
On the other side of it, though, you said you had 14 scholarship spots open. Mm-hmm. So how are you approaching the portal with that opening up with what you have?
Well, we're not doing anything right now, because no one's in it, right? So our emphasis is going to be more, when that hits and what becomes available, starting Monday. But those things, to me, the important thing with that is that we thoroughly vet all those people that we're talking about bringing into this family. And I think sometimes you can rush to judgment just based on the film and not knowing the young person well enough. And you can potentially add a piece to your team that's not a great fit. So we're going to do our due diligence with that and take our time and try and make the best decisions we can with who we add to our football team this next few months.
Will some of those scholarships maybe go to some walk-ons?
I think that's always a possibility, as we go through spring practice. Sure.
Are there any particular walk-ons that have stood out to you?
None that I would tell you right now. Come on, man, you go ruin the surprise. No, I really hope there's some guys that we can, as a staff, get together and consider doing that with. But they have to earn it, right? And that's I have ultimate respect for players that go that route because I went that route, and I know how hard it is. And so, we're constantly evaluating that.
A few weeks ago when camp started, I think you said that you would get to a point where you'd start working on the coach-to-player communication with the helmets. Where are you at right now in that process?
So we're working on that a little bit with the quarterback right now. But it's we're in the early stages of that.
You're in favor of it, though, in general, just for...
I don't think it matters if I am or not. You know what I mean? Like, it's coming. So we're going to have to adapt to it. And there's some infrastructure stuff that you have to do in the stadium in order to do it, right? And so some of that, there's a little bit of a startup to that takes time.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, so we had a coach in Jed Fish who was like all over the whole thing with the helmet communication. And it doesn't necessarily sound like Brent Brennan is really all on board with that concept. So that's interesting. And we'll have to kind of delve a little bit deeper into whether or not he even likes it. It just sounds like he's accepting the fact that that's what it's going to be versus Jed Fish, who was all about it. I mean, he was said that this is how it needs to be.
I don't know what kind of crowds he coached against.
Yeah.
And I say that because I think coaches who are very adamant about needing it are maybe ones who have gone up against maybe that SEC type crowd noise. You feel me?
Yeah.
And the inability to communicate with your quarterback during those moments in time. But to me, I just heard him say, this is how it is. I don't have a choice. This is the way it is. It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. All right, we'll have much more with the Arizona spring camp coming up for you later this week. The fellows will be back on the field on Tuesday. We've got Diamondbacks baseball tonight.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
It's the beginning of a series with the Chicago Cubs coming off a weekend stint in which the Diamondbacks took a 2 out of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals. And boy, was Zach Gallen great yesterday.
This 3-game set with the St. Louis Cardinals, and Zach Gallen is out there to make this start. He's 2-0 in 3 starts so far. Foul tip. Tucker Barnhart back there hangs on, and Gallen gets his first strikeout.
Nobody on, 2 outs. The pitch is a check swing. Yes, he did. Down on strikes. So Gallen off and running in this one, a 1-2-3 inning.
Swing and a miss. There's the curveball, and Gallen gets his 3rd strikeout. He's punched out now. 3 of the last 4 Cardinal hitters. 3-2. Called strike 3. A fastball at the knees, and Zach delivered big time for his 4th strikeout. 2 strikes, maybe not quite as much. And sure enough, Gallen gets in the bail at that curveball. Tucker Barnhart hangs on to the foul tip. Gallen goes back to the curveball and gets his 6th strikeout.
1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Gallen, 6 scoreless innings, gave up only 4 hits against St. Louis and set down the last 9 in order.
Zach Gallen, all he's done in 4 starts, how about 22 innings, 26 strikeouts. He's walked just 7, which is probably actually a little bit more than you would think from Zach Gallen in 22 innings. Only 4 earned runs and 18 hits allowed. 3-0 is the record this year so far for Zach Gallen. He has been ultra impressive for the Diamondbacks, a 1.64 ERA, and Torrey loved what he saw yesterday.
This day was set up by Zach, so we're talking about a clean game. He went out there and executed a good game plan. I decided to take him out of the game a little early. He threw 106, 107 pitches his last outing in 5 innings. Just made a lot of sense to shorten him up there. But he was very effective from inning to inning. He went out, and I think the breaking ball was elite. It was strike the ball, the bottom of the zone. It seemed like he could throw it anywhere he wanted at any time, and that's my opinion. Fastball came out real hot, real aggressive, and he established that, and then went to work with the secondary stuff and just kept making quality adjustments and attacking the zone and handed over the bullpen. The bullpen was fantastic as well. He said, look, I'm good. You want me to keep going? I'm good. When I can clip his innings early, I'm going to do that. I made that decision. I spoke to him about it in spring training, so he's on board with it. But he's such a competitor. He said, I'm good, but I said, we've had enough.
Yeah, Torrey talking about the bullpen, Joe Mantiply and Bryce Jarvis, 3 no-hit innings from those two combined to finish out that 5-0 win over the Cardinals. All 5 runs in the 5th inning. Jake McCarthy had a RBI double, and our guy Corbin Carroll had a big 2-run hit.
Corbin, first pitch, swinging, base hit. McCarthy's home. Here comes Barnhart. The throw from Nootbaar is offline, and Tucker's home. It's 4-0. Corbin Carroll drives in 2 more.
So tonight it'll be the Cubs game. This will be a 6:40 first pitch. It'll be Merrill Kelly on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He is 2-0 with a 2.29 earned run average. He'll be opposed by Ben Brown for the Cubbies. No record, a 6.10 ERA for Ben Brown. The Diamondbacks are a favorite in this ball game on the Desert Diamond Casino Sports Book at -150. Your over-under tonight is 8.5 at -135. If you're gambling, be careful and be safe doing that. All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. Tomorrow we'll talk some Tucson Roadrunners hockey. Steve Potvin is going to join us, and much more. Thanks to our guest from today, Troy Hutchinson, for joining us. For our guy, J.W. Madden, for cricket. My name is David Kelly. That is our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great Monday evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 3 o'clock. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. In collisions that are clearing, 6th Avenue north of Ajo, 6th Avenue and Veterans Boulevard, eastbound Speedway at Rosemont, and also Fairview and Roger Road in Fairview. And for your weather, our overnight low 49, 84 and sunny tomorrow, and about 70 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Escape the ordinary and indulge in a world of excitement at Park Place Mall. Discover endless possibilities with over 100 stores, restaurants, and entertainment options. Join them for the monthly Kids Club, Yappy Hour, and seasonal events. From fashion to food, it's all at Park Place Mall, where you belong.
Economy Plumbing Service. If water goes through it or to it, we do it. 885-3510.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur.